NiceGuyAndy podcast. Skullface Records Radio.
What's up, everybody? We're live. It's the NiceGuyAndy podcast. It's Thursday night. You know what we do. We watch wrestling. There's no wrestling on tonight, but we got special guests in the house, the Russian monster, Stephen Broughton. And as always, got my co-host, Sean Johns.
Hello, everybody. How are you tonight?
And we got Superfly Johnny Lee in here.
Hello.
Okay, guys, you take over. I'm going to do some stuff.
Alrighty. First, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Color Elbow Brand. Use promo code Andy10 at checkout, all caps, and save 10% off order at checkout. Also, check our Pro Wrestling Tees page at prowrestlingtees.com/NiceGuyAndy. Buy yourself a couple of T-shirts, preferably the Sean Johns T-shirt. Just kidding. Johnny?
Hell yes. You see these belts on this tape right here? You want custom belts made by a professional? Look no further than the man from Pakistan, Muhammad Jafar. He can get you a good deal, get your own championship made. Because, let's face it, guys, who wants to be walking around with Africa claiming they're champion when you could make your own belt and make it personalized? So hit up Muhammad Jafar right there on our Facebook, the Nice Guy Nation group, or search him up on Facebook under the name Muhammad Jafar, and you'll know who it is when you see the picture.
That's right.
And for all your internet gaming needs, get on Facebook and check out Royal Lex and tell them Nice Guy Andy's podcast sent you, and they will give you $5 in free play. And later on tonight after 10 p.m., Royal Dark will open, and they'll stay up all night for you till 4 a.m. in the morning, and you guys can play with them. And so that's it.
All righty. While Andy's getting our Facebook page shared to other groups, I'll start off with a stud. What made you want to be a professional wrestler?
Well, I grew up with watching it on Saturday morning TV every morning.
Talking to the mic.
And I never thought my voice wouldn't carry. But anyway, that was kind of my babysitter. My parents would put me in front of the TV, and we'd watch wrestling from sunlight to sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
And just always craved to do it. Always wanted to do it. Always had a mad passion for it. And back in the day, there weren't any training schools. You just, you had to know somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who would give you the rub to get in and,
That's true.
And, get the hell beat out of you every.
So who was your favorite?
Oh, I grew up as a Flair fan, but I also grew up as a big Southeastern Conference, Southeastern Wrestling, Championship Wrestling. The Fullers, Ron and Robert, Jimmy Golden, Don Carson, the Mongolian Stomper, who I'm still scared of to this day, even though he's been dead about 5 years. He intimidated me really bad. Bobby Blade and I always have this debate over, he was always scared of Joe LeDuc, and which has a reason to. Joe LeDuc was pretty bad.
That's true.
And but
That guy literally just cut his own arm in the middle of a promo. I saw that. I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah. Is it oath or oath or whatever?
In oat.
An oath. Ode to you, Jerry Lawler. Ode to you.
Yes.
And but just kind of really gave up the dream because I was getting up in years, and went to a show in Georgetown one night and saw Jeff Vickers. God rest your soul, Jeff. I'd be shocked. And saw him cause a riot.
Yeah, we heard about the riot.
He never broke I guarantee you he never broke a sweat.
No. And I went out to Taco Bell afterwards in Georgetown, and in walked Sheik Aftershock and Juicy Jimmy Felcher. And I was so in awe. It was just unbelievable. And I finally got the nerve to go over and talk to him. And Jeff and I stood outside in the parking lot for like 2 hours. And he said, hey, I'm starting a new training class here in Mount Sterling in January. This is October. And be ready to go. And I said, yes, sir. So much like a few people that I know, they figure all you need is a pair of boots and you know, and some nice colored tights and entrance music, and that's kind of what I went into. And that lasted about 2 weeks, and Tuffy and Jeff and Jimmy Felcher like to beat me to death.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
3 days a week, 2.5, 3 hours a day. I got chopped, I got slammed, I got splashed, I got punched. I had black eyes, I had busted mouth. And I remember Jeff pulled me aside one day and said, if you don't take this serious, we will kill you. And I literally think that he would have killed me. And I think Sean John knows him well enough that he would have.
And wasn't a broke a sweat doing
One
it
broke
either.
his sweat doing
Damn
it.
straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
We miss you. Go Shock.
Yes, sir. Trained for about 8.5, 9 months. And then I went on the road. And if you've ever experienced hell in life, you travel the roads with Jimmy Felcher. And
We love you, Juicy Jimmy.
we love
We really
you,
do,
Juicy.
Jimmy.
We love you, Juicy, but Juicy, I don't think ever carried his wallet the first 3 years that I was on the road with him, and I think I bought him more cans of Skull and more Big Mac meals than should be legal. And Juicy would say, "Man, I got you booked, stud." And at the time, I was doing Kentucky Stud, which is the most dead-end gimmick in the world. Because if you look at me here, folks, I'm far from being a stud. But anyway. Jimmy would get me booked in Madison, Indiana, and Austin, Indiana, and Jeffersonville, Indiana, and we would travel into West Virginia. And usually I get there as first man in the battle royal, first man out. Thanks, kid. We'll see you down the road. Or if I got a match, it'd be a 2 or 3 minute squash match. And I did it for like 3 years, no money.
Scott Diamond, good evening, sir.
What's up, Diamond?
Diamonds are forever, baby.
Chucky Smooth, what's up, man? Thanks for watching.
Look at the Chuckster.
That's right. Chucky's in the house.
Bobby Blades, you're watching. Thank you, sir.
Man, I should have borrowed your fur coat, Chuck, to wear on the podcast tonight, man.
That would've been
Kirkpatrick,
great.
thanks for watching.
There we go. Kirkpatrick.
That's another great one.
But anyway, like we were talking before we go on air here, down in Lawrenceburg one night, and my buddy Scott Diamond, you're the best, Diamond. I'm telling you, man.
It really is.
Nobody can shut down the airwaves in Irvin like Scott Diamond and the Russian Monster, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. The woman looked at me and Diamond, and she said, "We're off the air." And Diamond said, "Why are we off the air?" And she said, "The phone lines are blown up. Like we shut the phone lines down in Irvin."
Oh, wow.
And we were just telling the people of Irvin that they were unbathed, unkept, and crossbreeded. And I don't know why they got all upset for, but
Tell them the truth.
I
What?
thought
was just
I
speaking
thought
the
they
truth,
knew.
man.
You were.
It's like, man, But anyway, Diamond one night come to me and he said, "Man, I need you to go out and be Russian." And I said, "Scott Diamond, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But I'll do it. For one night, I'll do it." And we're looking 15 years later, having on merch here.
Yeah.
That's right.
And been making some good money with it, traveling, and did some TV in Knoxville, and so it's one of those things. You young trained workers out there, listen to what the old heads have to say. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but I mean, in this case, Scott Diamond, you were right. But I'll never tell you that again, man. But anyway,
I mean, it's correct. They should
Mark
listen.
Morris, how are you? Thanks for watching. Mark Julie Moore, so it's probably Mark watching.
Let me tell you something. If you want your car done right, you need to go to Ken Towery and see Mark in Danville. Let me tell you, Mark's the fairest human being I've ever seen and ever met in my entire life for car repairs or just, whatever you need, simple or major, man. Man, big props to you, Mark. Thanks for taking care of me these past few weeks, my friend.
Big props. But you're right. The young wrestlers should take the time to actually
Yeah.
listen to old wrestlers.
So you was the
And-
Kentucky Stud, and you was getting beat all the time, right?
All the time.
And then you became the Russian Stud.
Russian stud, and then I still got beat all the time, but it was usually by DQ. A lot of chains and a lot of nuts, and
And Scott gave you that.
Scott gave me the Russian Monster name. Your check's in the mail, Diamond, just like the show that we did up there in Jeffersonville that night. It's still in our checks.
Great name, too.
Stud.
So, but yeah, then I've moved on up and met Bobby Blade. And,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
Yeah,
And-
Bobby's awesome.
Oh, Mark Morris said, didn't mention shit about my great wrestling mind.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark Morris.
has a great wrestling mind. He has an amazing wrestling mind.
He really does.
secretly known, MWA stands for the Morris Wrestling Association. If you were wondering, don't anybody tell you it's
unofficial.
Mountain Wrestling. It's Morris Wrestling Association. But anyway, moved up. Met
Was
Blade.
was Mark a wrestler?
It's kind of like
Mark was a manager, promoter, booker,
Okay.
part-time wrestler,
yeah.
He was just in the business.
full-time heat seeker,
God, yes.
heat getter. First time I saw Mark perform, I was just like, that man has on 2 different shoes. And his beautiful wife, Julie, says, I think he plans it that way. And I said, oh, okay, well, he's just not, okay. Well,
Yeah.
good to see. But Mark had always one red shoe and one blue shoe all the time.
What was his gimmick's name?
It was Mark.
He was
Mark Morris.
Just Mark Morris? Just Mark
Yeah,
Morris?
Just simple Mark Morris.
Okay.
Man,
He could get a crowd to turn on him like fast. Yeah, one time I had to leave the room because he was doing something like pretending he got hurt or whatever. It's like I mentioned stage 4 liver cancer, and I got mad because that was shortly, like literally 2 weeks to the day after my father died of liver cancer. So it was a real tender. He didn't say it to me, but he said it to get the crowd, and I was at the show just trying to get loose. But it was right after my dad died. I look over at my now soon-to-be ex-wife, sadly. But at the time, she was just my girlfriend. We went to the show. I'm like, nope. I had to leave the room because it was too soon. And like he didn't know me from Adam at that point.
Well, you bring up cancer, and when you bring up cancer, you bring up Bobby Blade.
Oh,
So-
Bobby.
So Bobby Blade, I know he's going to kill me. I won't be allowed back on his slope porch anymore. But anyway,
Slope porch.
It
Blade-
is sloped. I've seen it.
Blade had been out of action for 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I guess, down Mount Sterling, and I guess Jimmy and Max had been beating him up every week and the whole deal. And so Jeff Vickers called me one day and he said, "Hey man, I got a booking for you at Mount Sterling. You're gonna have a match."
What year was this?
Oh, chime in, Blade. You probably know better than I do. I was doing Kentucky Stud at the time, so probably just before MWA went out of business, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't whatever year that was. Sean would know. You're the encyclopedia guy.
Good Lord. MWA. I ain't seen him have a show like since past
In
like
Sterling.
2012
Yeah.
in Sterling.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sterling.
good Lord.
Yeah.
Because I know they spent the last few years in Winchester at Fanny Bush Elementary. That's why I seen Mark Morrison almost rush the stage because it was too soon after my dad passed. So I was still tender subject on that. But good Lord.
But anyway, Blade.
Yeah.
Blade
It's been a while.
Vickers called me, come do a booking, and he said, "You're gonna work Jimmy."
Yeah.
And I called Jimmy, and Jimmy said, "Man, it's gonna be a night off for me." And I said, "Well, that's fine."
Oh, yeah.
It's my first night in and everything, and so like I said, they've been beating Blade up pretty bad, and this is what's referred to as the Mount Sterling Classic, and everybody loves it. So Blade come out, and about 30 people in the crowd, and Jimmy and Max are in the ring, and Blade says, "Just want to let everybody know I'm cancer free. I don't have any cancer."
Blade said that?
Blade said that.
And,
He said 2006, 2007-ish. It was right near the end of Sterling.
and
Time for MWA. Yeah,
got-
that's about right.
he got the reaction of this.
And nobody, they all
It-
went.
Nobody could have cared. Nobody could give a rat's ass about Blade being free of cancer. And he pointed at Jimmy and Max and said, "I have a friend that's come in to take care of you all." Now I'm backstage, and my knees are doing this because I'm scared to death. 'Cause
Yeah.
This is my first shot in Sterling. And he says, "It's somebody, a good friend of mine, a big friend of mine." And I can hear people in the crowd saying, "It's got to be Abyss, or it's got to be Wildcat Chris Harris." And I'm thinking, "Oh, God." And he says, "My good friend, the Kentucky Stud." And if Blade's reaction was this, mine was 50 times less than that. Like, nobody cared. And I come through the curtain, and it was just like,
Crickets.
you know. And then Jimmy and I went on to do
That was an overstatement there too.
that-
I'm just going
well,
there.
half of that.
Yeah.
And but Jimmy and I proceeded to have the worst match ever. I mean, ever in probably the history of MWA. And I think,
How long have you been wrestling at that point?
2006, you said, Sean?
Yeah, 2006,
I'd
7-ish.
probably 4 years in, maybe.
3-4 years
something
in.
like that yeah.
And Mark Moore said the last MWA show was May of 2013.
So why'd y'all have such a bad match? You
Well,
just
Jimmy got told in the back when he come in fashionably late that I was going over, and he wasn't real happy about
Oh,
it.
okay.
So,
and you got told he was going over, so you're...
and so I was told by Jeff Vickers and Tuffy that if I took everything Jimmy had and didn't give it back, I just need to keep running, walking out of the building, and just walk on home. And so we proceeded to just stink the joint up. It was horrible. It was horrible, and I think I beat Jimmy with a roll up or a schoolboy or something like that, and he just immediately left the building after the match. And
I didn't see him after that match. I didn't see him working MWA again.
so I can say I run Jimmy Felcher out of MWA. Everybody, you're welcome.
Just Jimmy got ran off.
He got ran off.
Was he Juicy Jimmy then, or was he still
He
Rough
was
Tough
Rough Tough.
Jimmy Clough?
Or James Clough or something like that.
did they not like him, or was that just
He was a heel, and
Yeah.
him and Max Led, who's Max is an
Yeah, that's right, Mark Morris. When you said the stage, he was told he had stage 1 prostate cancer. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't know you really were battling cancer at the time.
No.
It was just that you were doing that kind of over exaggerating, trying to get heat from the crowd, and it really took me because it was, like I said, 2 weeks after my father passed, and I was real emotional. It wasn't you, Mark. You did a great job, but at the time I wasn't having.
What you saying about Max?
Max is an underrated manager.
He's so funny, dude.
Max Led, he really is.
He cracks me the fuck up,
He
dude.
really
Yeah.
does.
He makes me laugh every time I look at that dude. I go down there to Bar Brawl and we watch Bar Brawl, and I try to interact with him as much as I can. And he cracks me.
He called
cracks
this
me
belt
up.
right here
Yeah.
a fake belt. He said, "What do you mean there's another belt? I want the real belt. I want
Exactly.
that belt right there."
So when we go down there, we take all the belts and we act goofy.
We-
and
we just
act
have fun at
silly
the
and
show.
We have
Right.
fun, and
Yeah.
we take pictures of people.
Was
and have
that
let
the
'em-
night? I guess that match you had the match you had with Juicy Jimmy.
Yeah.
Was that the night Jeff told you to throw your boots in the trash?
Oh no, no, that wasn't me. We were in.
He
Shop-
did tell somebody though.
Yes,
I
he
remember
did.
that
I'm
story.
and I have to tell this story. We were in Shopville for KZW, and I had worked. I can't think. He got in trouble for embezzlement of lawn care. So, Christian Skyfire. Sorry.
Christian Skyfire.
Jimmy would kill me if I didn't remember the name.
Okay, Jimmy jumped in, said he did have a few more MWA matches. I was wrong on that, Jimmy. I'm sorry, brother.
But we were in Shopville, and I had worked Christian Skyfire, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, I guess, for the U.S. title. But I had a friend of mine who was supposedly trained by Killer Kowalski, was in the same class as Triple H, and so I'm shaking my head, no.
Not possible.
But anyway, he was in a tag match in the semi-main event, and he basically stood on the floor the whole time, and just horrible match. And then Christian and I went out and had a match, and so we get back to the back, and Jeff was there along with my good buddy Stephen Platt, and Jeff comes back to the dressing room, and you would have thought Vince McMahon had walked in the dressing room, and I'm sitting over.
Anthony Presley says, "Get closer to the mic. Can't hear you."
Sorry, Anthony.
Scott Storm.
And Bobby said, Mark said, "Stud never rolled Jimmy up. Jimmy usually rolls everything for Jimmy and Bobby.
Wow.
Makes it easier for Blade. He's old and can't see."
And his porch is still slow.
Bobby said, "It's true. I can't see 5 feet in front of me."
But anyway, Jeff come to the dressing room, and me and Cody Matthews, shout out to the Iron Man, we're
The
sitting over
true Iron Man.
the corner, and Cody said, "What'd you think, Pops?" And Jeff, in his typical fashion, says, "Well, you'll never get any better, you'll never get any worse, Cody. So that's not bad." And I said, "What about it, Shock?" And Jeff says, "Well, what you were working with, you did the best you could." I said, "Okay." So my buddy Andy pops in and says, "Well, what do you think, Jeff?" And Jeff says, "Well, first off, I take those singlet off that Stud loaned you, and those Dick's elbow pads, and those boots, and I'd take them, put them in the trash over there, and I'd find a thing of gasoline, and I'd pour it on the boots, and I'd throw a match in it. and I would never tell people again I was a professional wrestler, and you
Yep.
know, and people just popped, for it. So, but
It popped. It popped.
that's all that matters. It popped.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
That's what it's all about, getting that reaction.
What's up, Anthony Presley?
Andy Presley, you rule.
Yep.
I don't think Anthony ever worked each other down in Glensboro. I don't know if we did. We might have Anthony. I don't remember if we have. I apologize.
So you wrestled in Glensboro
I
too?
wrestled in Glensboro. I think everybody's wrestled in Glensboro. I think Sean even did a match down there once in Glensboro.
I think I did.
Guaranteed.
Tim Owens said, "What was your favorite match in Ferguson, Kentucky?"
Who is Tim Owens? Oh, I know Tim. Hey, Tim. Tim is the #1 bourbon distributor privately in the state of Kentucky.
What's
my
up, Tim? Nice to see you.
Favorite match was against Juicy Jimmy Felcher in
Hell yeah.
Ferguson, Kentucky. And I think I actually went over on Jimmy there, too.
Yeah.
He never come back to KZW. So, folks, listen, promoters, if you want to get rid of Juicy Jimmy, just have me work him, and he'll never come back. So,
That's right.
I'm the Jimmy killer.
Juicy, he's calling yell. He's calling shots.
Oh, last match.
Yeah.
Scott Diamond said Jeff was the man. Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Uncle Shock was the man.
Yes. Jeff, like I said, the proud
I can't call him Aftershock. I can't even call him Jeff. To me, he was always Uncle Shock
Yeah.
because I like to think him and because he was always somebody I could talk to. And when my mother passed, I just asked him, "Hey, before you and Michelle go to bed tonight, and if Michelle ever sees this, Michelle, Mama, I love you, always have." I've always called Michelle Mama, always have, always will. I asked him to just say a prayer, and then he went on Facebook and lit up things when my mom passed, and I was just like, brother, he went above and beyond just for me that night, just sending prayers out when my mom passed.
Yeah. Jeff was one of a kind. Like I said, he one of the proudest moments I had in professional wrestling was inducting him into the WCCW Hall of Fame down in Lawrenceburg, and it was, like I said, it was one of my proudest moments, and I've had quite a few.
Yeah.
But like I said, Jeff played my first official rib on me, and it was a doozy. And we were in Madison, Indiana, and we worked the show, and me and him and Jimmy and somebody else worked the show, and I got home the next morning, and Jeff texted me, and he said, "Do not let anybody get in your gear bag, do not." And I was like, "Okay, Jeff." And my ex-wife opened
Chris,
my gear bag, and there was a pair of panties in there, and a note that said,
Call me.
"I had the best time in Madison. I can't wait to see you back." Kentucky
Oh,
Stud."
wow.
And
I could just hear that.
yeah, it was not a happy time in the Broughton household for a few weeks.
Oh, wow.
Not that she believed it. It's just the fact that as she so put it, those degenerates in professional wrestling, just don't understand what you do or what they're doing. And I've always Jimmy and I always joke and laugh and say that when Jeff died, Jimmy got his knack for getting money out promoters, and I got the ribbon side of it. And because Blade will tell you, nothing is off limits with Blade and Jimmy and I. The McMillan story, and and the slope porch, which he does have. Sean Jones
Yes,
is proof.
you
he
do
has.
have a slope porch,
Yes,
Bobby.
it goes down like this, and
It was fine till you moved in, Bobby. I don't know what happened.
yeah, it was. He swears it's not, but I mean, you could roll a bowling ball off it with no problem whatsoever.
It started out flat, and then it
It
became
started out
slope.
flat, and but Blade called us one day and said that his dad had heard. Shout out to Ed Smith. That Ed's a great man. But anyway, he said that Ed had heard they were serving McMellons, a drink at McDonald's, and we run with it.
I almost fell for it too, just
And-
reading it on Facebook that day.
So Jimmy and I went out, and I found a watermelon that said McMillan on it. It actually had the label that said McMillan on it. And Jimmy wrote a letter. I love you, Blade. Wrote a
He says
letter
his
with
porch is perfectly built.
the McDonald's
Perfectly
logo
sloped.
with a McDonald's logo on the top, and said, dear Mr. Smith, we appreciate you calling us about the McMillan, and we were out of those, but here is a watermelon for you and a month's worth of free breakfast coupons that you can use. And so we put it in a McDonald's bag and put it on Blade's porch. And we videoed it, and I still wish I had the video somewhere. But anyway, and we waited until we got the reaction on Facebook of, I don't know who put this watermelon on my porch, but you have no idea the trouble it has caused me.
Well, now Bobby knows.
And, well, no, we blamed it on Michael J. Cornett, but because,
Shout out to Michael
shout out to
Cornett.
Michael Eagle, man. Shout out to Corny. Corny was our wheel man for a few years, and
That's right.
if you want to be entertained, and you will ride with Michael Eagle.
I hear he's a pretty good car salesman
He's a damn good car salesman, and so I may be hollering at you soon, there, Corny.
Question for the stud. Was curious as why you don't want to match with Cousin Frank. That was Russell Ridenour.
Yep.
Well, okay, I'm gonna hit my quota here. Hillbilly Frank or Biscuit and Gravy Frank, whatever he is another one of those that I think he had 3 training sessions, probably total 45 minutes in the 3, and and I'll be honest with you. People like Frank and Mike Murphy and those guys. I mean, listen, I don't even pull my boots out of my closet for guys like that. So, and that's a straight shoot.
Yeah.
Straight shoot for you all that don't know Frank and all that. That means it's real. I know a lot of you goofs out there don't understand that. But anyway, moving on to people that are talented and things. Like I said, just want to send a shout out. Oh, shout out here real quick to Triple Crown. Where Vic the Bruiser, I think, is in having his next to last match, and I think his last match is in Brandenburg, and if I didn't do that, Terry England said he would never book me again. So shout out to the King, Terry England, and there you go, King.
Bobby said his porch is perfectly built. Anthony Presley said his porch was built by Ray Charles, so it's perfectly square.
And Bobby said,
Joe Hamblin says, well, hello, everyone. Good evening to the Russian stud.
Hello, Joe. How you doing, buddy?
And then Bobby said, my dad ate a random watermelon that may or may not have been poison and ate it with no concern for his safety whatsoever. It's because your dad's a badass, Bobby.
Listen,
he really is.
Listen, Ed Smith is he's amazing. He loves me and Jimmy, like you love Jock Itch. And Blade has in his upstairs bathroom this whiteout board. I don't know why. Don't ask me why anybody has a whiteout board in their bathroom. I don't know.
It's Bobby.
It's Bobby.
Yep.
And
That's where he does his best thinking in the bathroom.
Every time Jimmy and I go over, we write something on the board that Ed finds, and Blade has to explain why it's there. And so, but like I said, Bobby, we give Bobby a hard time. But Bobby Blade is he's one of my mentors. And he's a hell of a talent, and
Yeah, we love Bobby Blade.
He's a
around
good
here.
friend too.
yeah,
He's got a great YouTube channel, and he's just
Jimmy Felcher said, look at him sucking your ass, Terry England's sad state of affairs. HFSOD, HFOSD, HFOS. I have no clue what that is, Jimmy.
He don't know either.
It's Jimmy. I love Jimmy. He's great. He's always been cool with me.
It's 8:30. He's into the good week.
He probably looked that up on the
It's
internet.
past his bedtime.
It's past his nappy time.
scoot in a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. I'll
Yeah,
get
I
it.
think-
Yeah,
I love Juicy Jimmy.
Joe Hamblin, we're doing well, brother.
Yeah, at Joe Hamblin, I worked with Joe down Jellicoe one night, and they put the strap on Joe, and I said, "Man, run with it, Joe. I'm not gonna come back down to Jellicoe." And he said, "Man, you got to take it off of me." And I said, "Well." So I don't remember. Joe could probably tell you better than I could about me taking it off of Joe Hamblin. I don't know much about it. I just know that somehow or another ended up with a belt, and and that's pretty much it. I don't really know anything.
So
about
what was
this.
Joe's what was his
What
wrestling
were
name?
you, Joe? You were Joe Hamblin, or I don't even know. I don't know.
Joe Gold, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. What
I
he
think
was
it's
back
Joe
then.
Gold.
Joe Gold.
Joe Gold.
He'll chime in and tell us.
Yeah. So
And that was down in Tennessee.
down Jellicoe. Yeah.
At the
Veterans Park.
TSW.
No, it wasn't total shit wrestling.
Oh my God.
I can't think what it was. It led to me getting booked by Dusty Sharp and Knoxville, which led to the TV in Knoxville.
Yeah.
So
He's right. He was the big ticket Joe Gold.
Big ticket.
Joe
big
Gold.
Ticket. Big ticket. Joe Gold. There we go. But yeah, but that led to, like I said, again, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. I mean, one small booking in a little bitty park in front of 30 people, led to a Christmas show in Alcoa, which led to TV in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Which led to 7 years at ETCW in Alcoa.
Yeah.
Shout out to the hillbilly Big Joe Browning. I love you, Joe, man. Joe Browning could grow a garden of taters, man. He'll tater you. I mean, he'll lay them in there. Shout out to the great Pappy O'Malley, man. Paps, I miss you, man. Miss you at ringside. Mick O'Malley and Scott Savage. I'm coming for you, Scott. Next year, I'm coming to you. Southland Wrestling. I'm coming to you, son. I'm coming to get that strap.
So you still wrestle?
He's
Still
coming
do.
for it.
Really? I didn't know. I thought
Yep.
you was retired.
No, not yet. I say that every morning when I get out of bed.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
back and knees ache, and
Yeah. Okay.
but no, like I said today on Facebook, I'll be double nickels in May. So
Okay.
I figure
Hell
I
yeah.
figure I can go until I'm 70. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I figure you
good.
could.
Yeah. Go ahead. Why not?
I'll be lucky to go past 55.
So you got a match scheduled,
I'm getting. We've got some calls in with Terry England. Terry's going to run some shows,
and that's
UCW.
UCW
Some Triple Crown, possibly down at Southland.
Triple Crown. Okay.
And just listen. I'm open for bookings here.
Hell yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
And could we see you versus Jimmy Fletcher one more time?
I don't know. Jimmy
Is
wants
Jimmy
too much
still
money.
wrestling?
Jimmy Felcher.
I don't know. Why are you still wrestling, Jimmy? I don't know. That's a question.
Is that what you call it?
Was you ever wrestling?
I love Jimmy.
Let me tell you something, and I say this with all sincerity. If you want your show booked and you want someone with a great mind for wrestling, you hire Jimmy Felcher. I mean,
That's right.
That's a straight shoot. PWF was as close as anything you're gonna get, folks, and seeing like the way it should be. Guys that were trained, guys that traveled, guys that come in and put 3 and 4 and 5 star matches on every show without failure. And like I said, and the brains behind it was Jimmy. I know a lot of people, they're down on my boy Jimmy, but I mean, for all of Jimmy's burning bridges and everything, and his mad love of Mark Stoops and our new offensive coordinator, right, Mark Morse. Jimmy has a brilliant mind for booking.
Yes, he does.
Jimmy has a brilliant mind for booking, as does Bobby Blade, and it hurts me that Blade will not get back in the business, if nothing else, but just to be an advisor and help book. I mean, there's those two.
He's still doing. I mean, he's still
It would
actually.
be great if he did.
To me, Bobby's still in the business because Bobby he has his YouTube channel and he posts his wrestling there all the time.
Yeah.
So I really still. Bobby's still given to the wrestling. He's not
And
wrestling. He's not
and
commentating.
he chooses not to be monetized on YouTube with those videos.
But he's doing what he's
Which is
doing what
fine
he
by
needs
him.
to do because
Yeah.
after the wrestling I think the guys need to go on to other things like we've had Ray Bear Steele in here and he's Ray Bear Steele is going to be more part of the podcast from in the next
That's
coming
right.
years so he'll probably there's going to be a day when I don't want to do when I'm going to take off and Bear's going to be sitting in his seat co-hosting. I can just feel that. So,
Anthony Presley said Bobby has a spot at New South Wrestling anytime he wants.
Bobby does, yeah.
You hear that, Bobby?
Joe Gold said to you, Stud, I still remember to this day consider you one of my mentors and always have been thankful for so many, including you.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So Bobby's still active in wrestling.
Yep.
He's just he just does his he does his YouTube thing and he takes care of his dad. So he's he's a busy guy.
He does a great job.
Shout out to Ed.
Yeah, shout out to Ed Smith.
Shout out to Ed.
We're big fans of Bobby Blade around here.
Yeah, well,
I'm telling you right now.
I'm glad somebody is.
Yeah, we
I'll
are.
tell you though.
Somebody has
Man,
to.
when he was on this
May
show,
as well
man, he
be
was
us.
just the best guest, and he just taught us everything. And
Talked about 4 hours. Didn't
Yeah.
even feel like
it was
20 minutes.
great having him in here. It really was.
He
Yeah.
told us about that story.
Shay
where-
Walker says he don't sound Russian.
I mean,
He's from South Russia.
there we go. South
Yes,
Russia.
he's from South Russia.
He's
Enjoy
from-
it, buddy. You
Shay
is
Walker is my buddy out of Memphis,
Russia,
Tennessee.
Kentucky.
Russia, Kentucky. But Shay,
Hey Wendy, how are you?
Shay's out of Memphis, Tennessee, and Shay Walker. I always refer to Shay as my Gordon Soley of my era. Shay was the announcer for TV in Knoxville,
Okay.
and
What was the place? What was
that
the?
was Great American GAW, Great American Wrestling. They
Great
ran-
American Wrestling.
They
Okay.
ran
yeah.
out of the Fountainhead. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Shay, because I sometimes get the towns confused. Run out of Knoxville, Fountainhead, on Fox 43 out of Knoxville, I think, and the promoter or whatever he was, Shay, whatever Troy was.
Yeah.
Troy, I don't know how to describe Troy. Troy called me to come do TV, and I said, I just don't really want to do TV. I don't look like I'm in TV shape. And he said, well, call me back with what you need, and and we'll see what we're gonna do. And I said, okay. So I called Jeff, love you, Shake, and he said, Jeff said, well, just ask for something, just ask for some money, just obscene, just something they're not even gonna want to do. So I called Troy back, and I said, hey, I need $175. I need a hotel room. I need gas money. I need food, and you got it. Cool, awesome. So I drive down to Knoxville. I go to Fountainhead. He pays me. Got your room at Red Roof Inn.
Yeah, Shay Walker says that is correct, sir.
Yes.
And Terry England, thanks for watching.
Thanks for tuning in,
We were
Terry.
just speaking of you, sir.
That's someone that we want to get on in 2023.
Thanks for watching us, Terry.
Thanks, King.
Hey, if everybody out there is watching, please either subscribe or both. Subscribe to the Nice Guy Andy podcast
Send
YouTube
some
page.
stars.
Send some
Definitely
stars,
send some stars.
and Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Follow Andrew Watkins on Facebook, or follow the Nice Guy Andy podcast on Facebook. Follow Johnny Lee Snowden on Facebook, and we'll follow the Fandito page, and Sean Johns.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, and our Instagrams too. So
right.
it's a Nice Guy Andy podcast _ wrestling podcast. Nice Guy Andy _ wrestling podcast.
Sean.Johns on Instagram.
And go to prowrestling.com and you can get a Nice Guy Andy podcast shirt, just like kind of like what Johnny
That's
Lee's
right.
wearing right now. And there's a Fandito shirt on there, and there's a Sean Johns encyclopedia, and there's a shirt with the logo.
That's
and
on one of the belts here.
Andy
Excellent.
above it. So
And also that logo right there.
yeah,
That's
that
right.
logo. So y'all, if we sell enough shirts, we'll be able to create some new designs, and that'll be great. So maybe we'll have a Soviet stud on there
There we go.
at some
That'd be
point.
I
great.
gotta get some new merch here. I gotta get
Yes.
some new merch.
And Russian Monster.
There you go.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Yeah.
That'd be
But,
great.
Anyway, showed up to Knoxville and got the hotel and went and done the little TV taping and come back to the room and nobody knows I'm there except just I think Jimmy and Jeff knew I was down there, and I order a pizza and you're gonna let Shay loves this. There's a knock at the door, and I open the door and with a little chain, and there's probably the most beautiful 19-year-old girl you'll ever see in your entire life, and she says, "Are you the Russian monster?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "Well, Troy Lowe said you're here by yourself, and I'm paid for an hour."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Well, there's 60 other rooms, honey. You need to get stepping, So, and I told Troy the next day, "Don't ever do that to me again." And he said, "Well, I just figured, it's a perk." And I was like, "No, I got all the money I need and all the, the hotel and the food and, so."
So he thought that
That
you would want that.
Yeah, right.
Shay starts. So we got a
Shay
good
knows.
laugh about it.
Shay knows.
What's up? Stay too quiet.
On YouTube. Okay.
What were you saying, Russian Monster?
I have to tell everybody, if you've not been in the studio, it's an awesome setup. It's a very good setup here. It's not too tight. Blade said it was too small in here, and I knew not to believe him. He can't believe anything Blade says.
Just like he tried saying that his porch is
The
not
place
sloped.
is small because the rent's small. So
There you go. He said Sean Johns kept trying to sit on his lap while he was here, and I said,
Yeah.
well, Sean
Bobby,
would
you
try-
promised not to tell.
he'll do that.
Sean would try to do that with anyway. It don't matter how big. Or you could be in the Grand Canyon.
That's why they got
That's
me
true.
over here in the corner because I was going to jump in your lap today, Stud. I'm just saying I would have.
He grabbed Bobby Green's down below.
All right, Donnie Green, sir. If you're going to say it, get it right. Get the
Yeah.
story.
meant
No,
Donnie
I didn't.
And both of them. So it was like,
Well, he's a lonely man. He's going through a divorce.
yeah,
That's
Hey,
true.
yo.
Cut him some slack, man.
yeah.
So
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Well, there's his justification.
there we go. On the
Yeah.
next podcast, Sean John's Sexless World.
Oh, we're gonna have a dating. We're gonna have a dating
That's a side.
a dating show next year after his divorce. We're gonna have a hookup show for Sean
I
John.
hate you all.
There you go.
I hate you all.
Well, if you need
I don't hate you, but
if you need a hookup, you need to holler at Jacob. No good, Jacob Ratliff.
Oh yeah.
AKA Barry.
Oh,
We've
snap.
we've reached out to him and he hasn't messaged us back. Has he not?
Not
messaged
yet.
us? No. We tried to get him
No,
on the
Wendy,
show.
I do not need that 19-year-old. Oh my gosh. She goes, he needs that 19-year-old.
There you go. Jacob come to my bachelor party. We had.
Really, Wendy?
Did you recently get
I
married?
got married April 23rd. I hope that's right, Sassy. I hope
This
that's
year?
right. This year.
Okay,
Been married
yeah.
about
That's
6
why
months.
you seem so proud of it. That's why I added
Oh, yeah.
those pictures to your.
Yeah.
Yep. yeah.
Bobby
thumbnail.
said I never said any of that. Bobby.
You
Okay.
did.
Oh,
Bobby.
come on, Bobby.
Come on, Bobby.
Don't be modest.
But Jacob, we we went to my bachelor party at Cowboys. Me and Jacob and Adrian Alexander.
Oh man, Adrian's
that's
a
a
great
great
guy.
guy.
My good friend Tim Owens and the funniest comedian in the world. If the world ended today and he was the only one left, Matt Linville. Love you, Matt.
Is he a real comedian?
He is. Matt has a story about leaving his ex-wife that would sell a million albums, but he just will not talk about it. But anyway, but Barry Jacob never been to an adult nightclub before in his life, and he went in.
Ratcliffe.
Yeah, Jacob
no good.
Ratcliffe.
Yep, no good, Jacob.
Okay.
And he's all scared. He's all timid and everything. And,
Yeah.
you know. So we sit down, and this girl comes over, as they do. And she said, "What's your name?" And Jacob says, "I'm Barry from Pittsburgh. I'm a used car salesman. I'm the second best seller on the lot. My brother Bobby always outsells me." And all of a sudden, Jacob was like, boom. And Jacob was the man. I mean, he was, he had more fun with the $40 he had in his pocket than Aiden had with whatever Aiden had. in
Thank
his
you,
pocket.
Wendy. They had
Yeah.
to be at least 30 to mess with a man my age. Good Lord,
How old
Wendy.
are you now, Sean?
I'm
60?
42.
Oh, you're 42.
I really am.
Really?
He's actually 52.
Yeah.
I
Shut
think-
up.
I think you're 52.
No, I'm 42. I
You've
promise.
been in the
52,
business
I
18 years,
promise.
Sean, and you were like 40 then.
Oh,
Old ass.
I
Sean.
feel 40. I felt 40.
Don't be lying
There's a
about your
difference.
age, Sean.
Old ass
You
Sean.
lie on your application, Sean.
Nope. I didn't pull a
You're not paying
boogie,
him for
man.
this, I hope.
ain't what your mama said.
I hope he's not.
I've always looked older than what I am, but I am 42.
Yeah.
Well, you were married, and so that will age a man 20 years.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You know? So the sad thing is, Sean's wife didn't know that she was married to him. Was the thing.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Oh.
He's like, I'm married. We're married.
woke up
we gotta get
crying.
divorced. We gotta get
Nobody told
divorced
me
right
this.
away.
No wonder she woke up crying every morning.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Crystal, if you ever see this, we're still good.
She's
We're
probably
still getting
watching.
along, but it's not working out. Yeah, let's not go there. It's not.
Let's not get all sad.
I love her to
right.
death, always will, but things change. So
There we go.
It's no big deal.
There we go.
that's right.
You'll get over it.
Yep,
You know, that's
You'll
some
get over it by getting under somebody. That's
Oh
That's
yeah.
right.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah. Take your ass to the strip club. We'll be
There
all
you
right.
go.
Wendy
right.
says she
Take
is a
Barry.
sweetheart. That she is, Wendy.
Take Barry with you.
She's
Yep,
oh,
take
God.
Barry with you.
She's
No
put
good
up with
Jacob
me
Ratliff.
for years, so she has to be a sweetheart.
We definitely gotta get Jacob Ratliff on here because he's one of the guys that I took notice of.
We've been, exactly. Over at KEPW. He was
Jacob.
great.
Yeah, he signed with the new wrestling.
Yep,
Elite
Elite
Wrestling
Alliance.
Alliance.
Adrian's got people.
The stud might be a little involved in that too. I just can't reveal anything yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Adrian's reached out to me.
Adrian's awesome, man.
He really
He is, and he
We
finally
have his,
got away from that goofy.
Yeah, he is.
Have a slim, buddy.
Yeah, he got away from the goofy Arabic gimmick that
Camille Ahmad.
Camille Ahmad,
Yep.
and he was working down at KPW one night, and they had him in a dress. They put him in a dress with lipstick and
Yeah. He lost the match, right?
lost the match. And I walked back to the back, and I had a handkerchief, and I handed it to him, and he told me at the bachelor party, he said it was the saddest I've ever felt. He said because you looked at me with such like, I can't believe you're actually doing this gimmick. And
Yeah.
he said I just want to hang my head. And I said it was the worst gimmick. Scott Diamond has come up with some great gimmicks, but Scott, come on, man, that was a failure with a capital F, man. You know that.
He said, I bought a car and her dress was in the back seat. Scott Diamond, what are we going to do with you? I think he's talking about Adrian Alexander when he lost that dress match.
Yeah, sure.
I hope so.
He probably looked at Adrian, saw that dress, and was like, you know what would be good?
Yeah,
Put
I'll
this
just
dress on.
Put this on Adrian and put some lipstick on him. Yeah.
And it ended up being the worst thing.
Hey,
was
Bobby
already
had to
good
wrestle
then.
for 30 days in a dress once.
Did he really? Now I don't know about that.
This was probably long before you got into the business.
Before
Even before I
Simba?
even heard
Before
about it.
Simba?
Yep. It's probably
It was about that time.
it's probably either before
Around that time. He
or
lost
after
a match, had to
Simba.
wrestle for 30 days or until he won a match.
Wow, I did not know that, Blade. So
He's been keeping secrets.
there you go. He has. So yeah, we Blade used to do the excuse me thing, and
Yes.
Vickers convinced him that they were going to sue him for copyright infringement, and he quit doing it.
He's still mad about
He
that.
quit doing it for about 3 or 4 weeks, and he finally said, "The hell with it! I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do it. They can sue me." And it was just the greatest rib ever that Blade.
Sad part is he did it before Vicky did it.
Yeah, he
Really
But,
did.
did.
but
Yeah.
because it was WWE, they were the wider, broader audience.
Yeah,
Nobody knew any better. I'm like,
Right.
trust me, I knew.
yeah. The seven-time tag team champion with
Multiple partners.
multiple partners,
That's right.
and that's just the tag team people,
Mm.
So Blade's upset that he never gets a card from Dean Ambrose because they teamed together one time
Yeah.
at a Roger Ruffin show, and
Cincinnati.
Ed hounds him that why he doesn't get a Christmas card from Dean Ambrose, and we just always seem to egg it on a little bit by saying, "Yeah, I don't understand. I got a Christmas card from Dean Ambrose, and I don't
I'm just a
understand
fan, and I got a Christmas card from him last year.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I am. It just sends me Christmas cards, But, Blade is easy to fire up, I tell you for sure.
I remember we ribbed him also about Carl Anderson, Chad Allegra. I'm like, Bobby Blade tortured him so much he had to go to Japan and
You go to Japan,
change his name.
Change his name. Yeah. Yeah.
Chad Allegra.
We love you, Bobby.
I tell you what, Chad Allegra sounds
We
like
would
if you
we
pull
would
real-
everybody would fabricate on him. It got so
Yeah.
bad somehow even some of the fans started fabricating on Chad Allegra. It was great.
I swear that he's the only person I know that gets ribbed and he starts sweating. And
He'll
saying,
he'll take it serious. It was great.
Who's that, Blade?
No,
Chad
Chad Allegra.
Mr. Chad Too Bad.
There were so many stories about his rib, but Donnie Green and Bear Steele ribbing him.
That's another two great ones. Is Alan Bear and Donnie and Bobby Green. They're watched them many months. Doing security at MWA and love them both. Had a match with Al one night down in Lawrenceburg and God bless Al. He took me basically by the hand, led me through a match and made me look halfway decent.
Who was that?
That was
Al
Steele.
Steele.
Al Steele, yeah.
Yeah. So Al, the Green Steels are good people, and shout out to Larry Jones down there running the bar, and
Hell yeah.
I'm
Larry
sure
D.
they're packed out the door, Larry D.
Oh yeah, man. Down here, his
Those bar
bar.
brawls are great.
When we have those bar brawl shows, they're great. I don't drink. I've just recently passed 7 years sober.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
But I'll go out there. We had fun. And the after party for the show is just great. After we pick the chairs up, leave the ring there, and especially guys from the Nice Guy Andy podcast, when we got the Slicksters there as well, we all just have a great time.
We bring the energy.
We bring the energy. Karaoke. I'm about part of
Johnny brings the dancing. Johnny's a dancing fool.
Oh, is he?
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Oh.
We had some Golden Girl ladies there, and Johnny got surrounded by two of them. Like, they were just
They were up on.
surrounded him.
There you
Like,
go.
Yeah.
but then we
Yes.
found out we got hit with COVID, and that, like, well, shit, maybe they knew.
No.
It was
Yeah, because him and I were the only ones that caught it.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, and Jay Money was actually dancing with one of those Golden Girls too, and he didn't catch it.
No, that was the night he hurt his ribs and had to leave early.
I
Yep.
guess Kirkpatrick said he wore a dress too. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kirkpatrick wore a dress.
He said he worked that gimmick too. We'll ask you about that when you come on the show.
We
Kirk.
will ask you about that, Kirk. That's what I love about the podcast, because we bring y'all on because we want to hear y'all stories.
That's right.
You ever never wore a dress?
I never wore a dress.
How many championships did you have?
At least
Well,
in
I
the
did-
gimmick. I
did
heard other
that.
stories.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I was Uncle Billy Bob in Memphis, Indiana, one Saturday afternoon. Big shout out to Steve Marino for coming up with that one.
Uncle Billy Bob.
Uncle Billy Bob. Jimmy and I would do the loop. We would do Memphis.
Talking to the mic a little bit better.
We would
I'm
do
sorry.
Memphis. No, you're fine. We would do Memphis, Indiana, and then Madison, Indiana, and sometimes Jeffersonville, and one Saturday.
Scott Diamond said he still does.
Scott Diamond is.
Yeah.
True.
Anyway, so I showed up, and at the time I wasn't wrestling. I was just doing a little managing and traveling, and I had on nylon Nike sweatpants and a Nike shirt and tennis shoes. And Jimmy said, "I need a manager out there." So I said, "Well, can't go out and manage you, like this." And so Steve Marino said he grabbed a burlap sack from somewhere, and I rolled my sweatpants up to my knees and
Yeah.
took my shoes off and took my shirt off, and I got a little floppy hat that somebody had. I don't know who had it, and I went out to the ring as Uncle Billy Bob, and it was probably one of the worst experiences of my life because I kept trying to keep the sweatpants from rolling back down, and I'm in a burlap sack, which itches really,
Oh yes,
really,
so
really,
those suck.
really heavily. You
They
know.
really do suck.
Yeah, and that was the night that Bobo tried to short us on money, or short Jimmy on money, and Jimmy went out the back, and I walked through the crowd to go to get something to drink, and Bobo was counting enough money to to make Terry England jealous, and I walked out to Jimmy, and I was like, Bobo's got a wad of money, and Jimmy come charging in, and somehow or another, the next thing I know, Jimmy's like, I got yours, brother, and I got mine. I was like, oh. He's like, we're not ever allowed to come back. And I was like, okay, well, thanks for the $10, Bobo. Thanks, I appreciate that. That
Yeah.
really helped down the road, I think I bought Jimmy 2 cans of Skull with that or something. But anyway, somehow or another,
Lesson learned. Never
lesson
stiff
learned.
him.
Yeah, lesson learned.
So where was your favorite place to wrestle?
Wow. I really don't have a favorite. I just, it's one of those things that, every place I go, it's just, I'm living a dream, everywhere I go.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I really,
What promotion did you say that was my promotion?
well, like I said, I was at ETCW for 7 years in Alcoa,
Yeah.
and got the start there, got their strap, held it for 11 months.
So you was the champ
I
there,
was a champ there, ETCW champ. For
and that's
11
Eastern Tennessee.
East Tennessee Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
They used to run Springbrook Inn or Springbrook Rec Center.
Are they still?
They are running. I don't know whether I haven't been with them since April.
Yeah.
And no, Jimmy, I'm not going to go into that story. But
Yeah.
let's just say business is business, and sometimes business decisions are made on a personal level from a promoter that has nothing to do with the wrestling business. And
Facts.
that's all I'm going to say. And I will tell you boys that story off the air.
Okay. Cool.
Sounds good, brother.
But
Sounds good.
anyway, I really enjoyed ETCW. I really did. It was
Yeah.
family down there. Always love work for Terry England. Always.
Yeah.
Terry runs a top rate
Yeah,
show.
we hear that a lot.
We hear that a lot.
But Terry, we were on the show one night with Terry, and he had Jerry Lawler on the show, and Lawler come in, and I mean, just the house they were hanging from the rafters, literally. I know that's a promoter line, but they were hanging from the rafters. And Lawler come in and had, at the end of the night, had a cup of coffee in his hand, and Terry England said, "Where'd you get that coffee at?" And he said, "Some older woman out there gave it to me." And Terry said, "Did you pay for it?" And Lawler's like, "No, I didn't pay for it. Some woman gave it to me." And he said, "That's my mother." And he said, "I need $1 for the coffee." And Jerry Lawler's like, "Really? You really want me to effing pay you for this coffee?" And he says, "Well, nothing's free." And I can't remember who it was. It might have been Kerry Awful. I think Kerry was on the show, and I think Kerry gave Terry $1 for the coffee or something. But Terry's one of those promoters that he never runs a bad show. He will count money till George Washington's hair comes off. Just continue to making sure it's all counted and making sure everything. But Terry's a pretty good fair payout guy. And
Carl Pelfrey, thanks for watching. Sandy, thanks for watching.
What's
for
up,
tuning in,
Elvis?
Sandy.
Hey,
Elvis, I was like, oh, no,
Yep,
that name. Yeah, it's Elvis.
Yes, Elvis. Elvis is the only person I know that has to take his shoes off to count to 3. So, but no, I enjoyed UCW, and like I said, I enjoyed ETCW. And enjoyed my 2 or 3 shots at MWA. That was the dream. I mean, when I started training, I trained at MWA in Mount Sterling, and that was the dream to just one time work there. And I got to work there 3 times, and it was amazing. And thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mr. Hayes, for booking me over there those 3 times. I've done a few shots for Larry for PTW back when I was first starting. That was the first time I met gentleman Jim Chadwick as my manager. My buddy Kyle Fields, you all know him as Short Bus from
Yep.
Sea-Rock, was my tag team partner.
Shout out to Kyle Fields, who's
Yes,
got
sir.
the Obtuse Angles podcast.
There you go.
I'd listen to them every week. I
Oh, they're
love
good.
them.
I haven't listened to them. I don't really listen to you, Kyle. Sorry, man. I have to listen to
Who is
Nice Guy
it?
Andy's
Yeah, no.
podcast.
Hey,
very
Y'all
much.
can listen to their podcast too. Who is it?
the Obtuse Angles podcast.
Okay, where are they out of?
He's in Iowa right now.
Iowa?
Yeah.
Kyle lives in Iowa. His co-host lives here in Kentucky, kind of like close to Louisville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good podcast.
There's room for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really talk wrestling so much anymore. They started out talking wrestling. Now they're kind of doing other stuff.
They do
Occasionally,
serial killers and
serial killers,
Yeah.
storylines.
yeah. But
They come out like
We appreciate
mostly
you putting
every
this up.
Monday. You
Yeah.
can find it everywhere. They are funny as hell.
they are.
We'll check them out.
But,
They really are.
But like I said, I mean, it's just every even after 18 years, January will be 18 years. It's just one of those. I love coming out to the crowd. If you hate me, you hate me. But it's just
At least you're getting our reaction.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. One of my most recent favorite stories was when I met my wife, Christy. We were driving down Alcoa one night, and I said, I have to tell you, these people hate me. And she's like, "Oh, nobody could hate you." And I was like, "No,
I'm
you
like,
understand.
"Oh, trust me."
they will hate me." And she's like, "No." And I said, "Okay, they're going to say things to me that are not real polite." And she was like, "I don't know anybody could hate you."
Oh,
And I was like,
trust me.
"Okay, yeah." And so I'm in the back, and I'm watching her on camera. The camera's on her, and the Russian anthem hits, and all these people just start going ape shit, and they're booing and they're spitting at me, and I look over at her, and she's just like.
That
You
was
know.
just a voice.
And I walked by, and I just kind of winked, and she was like, "How can anybody hate you?" And I was like, "Well, because it's just
They hate the Russian
They hate
thing.
the Russian.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody can hate me.
Yeah, they don't hate you personally, but
Well,
you
They
what
hate
you
the
present.
Russian monster.
Right.
I mean, right now it'd probably be big time to be Russian, and
Yes.
it probably
Yes.
gets a lot of heat right
Yeah,
now.
it does. Like I said, I haven't worked the show since April.
Yeah. So where'd you meet your wife, and how long you know her, and you just got married to her in April, right?
In April.
Okay.
A mutual friend of ours who we don't really talk to anymore. I was working at St. Joe East as security, and she was working teaching school at TLC, the Learning Center down in Richmond. And this nurse that we both knew just said, "Hey, it'd be great if we could, if you all could meet."
Yeah.
And I think the nurse was like, God knows you need somebody, Steve.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, thanks. Ego boost.
Yeah.
And so we met, went on our first date to Sonny's, and just, I said, going to have a second date. And I never got the second date, but somehow I got married to her. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
you know, she's a North Carolina grad. Shout out to the Tar Heels.
We don't hold that against her.
We don't hold that against her. She's a Kentucky fan now,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
there you go. Florida girl, loves the beach, which I love the beach. You know, so, you know, just lucky to have her. She's kind of my stable. Sean Johns just blew up the computer in here, people.
No,
Yes, he
it's going dead.
This man has blew up the computer.
Shut up, Johnny.
Here, use this one.
You have been caught by the Russian
That one
monster.
working? Yeah, that one was working.
It was working.
Yeah. So you met her and y'all went on a first date and then got married.
Yes, pretty much.
Congratulations.
Well,
Yep,
cool.
we went to Florida, met her parents, and who her dad watches me on the YouTube, as he says.
Yeah.
All
I love how people call it the
the
YouTube.
YouTube.
The YouTube.
One of the wonderful people. They're
Or if you put something on layaway, it's called the layaway.
the
I'm like,
layaway.
oh.
Yeah. You know.
It's the hip thing for all the older people to do.
Well, I don't know. I say the, so I guess someone.
And she didn't know that you were in wrestling when she met you?
No, she had no idea, and you know, and I don't know if she would have married me if she'd known this, but because it's a crazy life. It's a very crazy life, and
Yeah.
it takes a strong person. It takes a strong person in the ring, a strong person out of the ring,
Especially to be a heel.
to be a heel.
That's right.
You know, because it's one of those things to where, you know, you're not going to be able to go hang out, you know, at an intermission, you know, and you're not going to be able to, you know, I mean, I sneak in, you know, when I worked for ETCW, I'd sneak in the building and hide out in the back, you know, and it's a lonely life. It's a lonely life for your girlfriend or your wife or your fiance when you're in the back and they really don't know anybody. They're just sitting out in the audience, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
They're
know.
like, who's your, my
Yeah.
husband's the Russian stuff.
Right.
Whoa, we hate him.
There you go. Exactly.
Can't really say anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of like, oh, I'm just here to watch the show.
Yeah.
But like I said, she's a wonderful woman and works very hard.
That's awesome, man.
You know, so I'm very blessed. I mean, as Steve Broughton, I'm very blessed, and you know, as a Russian monster, I'm even more blessed. I'm blessed with 18 years. You know, and you know, we were talking earlier about retirement and things like that, and you know, I'm going to be really sincere here about this. I mean, it really tears me up inside to think about ever having to retire. As Madman Pondo says, you don't really, guys like me don't retire. I've never made a living at this, you know, and it's been a hobby, but it's been a damn good hobby. It's been a wonderful hobby for me, you know, and I've met people that you know at the Brotherhood, which Jeff and Jim and Jimmy and Blade have preached. And Sean will tell you, I mean, he trained a little bit, and they preached the Brotherhood. And
Yeah, oh, yeah.
you know,
That's right.
And the Brotherhood is, I mean, it's one of those things that you feel very welcome to get into it, and it's a lifetime thing.
It's tough to get in,
yeah,
easy to get out of, and once you get out of it, it takes forever to lose that respect from the Brotherhood.
yeah. When I started, like I said, I trained at Mount Sterling, and I would do security every Saturday night. I would do security for MWA, and every night as Jeff would come to the ring, I would say, "Hey man, where we eating at? Where y'all eating at after the show?" And he would say, "Oh, Applebee's or Jerry's or
Somewhere, yeah.
somewhere." And I would go to I would go to where they were eating at, and they would get a table to themselves. You know, I mean, Jimmy and Jeff and Al and Bear and Donnie and and Mr. Hayes and Chucky Smooth and all these guys would get a table by themselves, and I would just sit at a separate table. They never like invited me over and, hey, what you doing or anything. And and I did this for quite a while, and it got to where, I mean, are they just, are they fucking with me? I mean, is this just something is this a rib on me? And one night Jeff come around and he said, "Hey man, we're going to Moors on Main in Paris. Come down." And so on the ride down, I thought, okay, if I go down there and they don't, not talking to me or anything, then
That's it.
I'm done. I'm walking away.
Yeah.
So I got down there and Jeff said, "It might be a good idea to buy the boys a round of beer." And so I went and bought a round of beer, and I remember Bear, motioned me over. Al motioned me over, and I sit down. And he said, "Thanks for the beer." And he just started talking to me about how to work as a big man. Yep. And then everybody started talking to me, and everybody, "Hey man, what's going on?" And then I was accepted into the brotherhood. I got chills here talking about it now.
Yeah.
Accepted into the brotherhood. And I said to Jeff, why did I, for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months did I come and you all? And he said, "There's so many people that want to get in the business." And they want to get in it to go back and tell their friends, "Oh, it's not that tough. It's not that big of a deal. It's all fake."
Yeah.
And he said they had to be shown that you had a passion for it, and that you weren't going to make fun of the business, and you weren't going to, make light of it and go out and tell about how easy it is. Because let me tell you, it's not an easy life. I mean, Sean Johns can tell you what it's like to be shot by
Damn
Tuffy.
straight.
We don't talk about that.
Right.
Yeah,
And
we do actually talk about it a lot.
Right. But the thing is, you have to understand that, I mean, I was chopped by Tuffy and splashed by Jimmy. And God bless Jim Chadwick's heart. Love you, Jimbo.
Yeah.
I love Jim.
Love Jim. Jim come and talked to us about halfway through training about respect. And respect for the business, respect for your brother, respect, for people. And then Jim gave us kendo stick shots.
Man.
And in the exact next breath.
He,
too.
he loved that shit.
I had cut my head shaving right here, and Jim caught me right there on it.
Right in the cut mark.
Yeah, and you could see the scab go this way, and the blood roll down this way. And the only thing I knew to say, and I said, "Jim, thank you so much for giving me color." And he said,
"Pirate, what's up?"
And I love Jim. Jim's line was, "Son, you're not the brightest thing in the world, but you're going to take a lot of ass whoopings." And I said, "Thank you, Jim." And he said, "You want another kendo stick shot?" And I said, "No, I'm good," because the blood was just pouring down my face. And there's a picture somewhere of it. But like I said, I mean, it's a brotherhood. I mean, and I think
We should be pirate.
There's
It really is a brotherhood.
Yeah, there's so many people that are in the quote business that don't understand that, and they're not trained. They haven't paid their dues.
And there's people that's side business that just want to get their spot in, and
That's right.
they're gone.
Get their stuff in and go. So
That's right.
you having technical difficulties over there?
No, it's a buddy of ours, Pirate.
Yep, pirate.
He's a funny guy. Ask y'all still live or am I late? Oh no, we're still going live.
It's live in the graveyard, Pirate.
Pirate, that's
That's
right.
right. And I gotta tell you, you're right. There's guys that don't want to pay their dues, that don't understand that you gotta pay your dues, or you're gonna
Yeah,
be
I've known people that think, well, I've done some training, this, that, and the other. I said, you ain't done nothing.
That's right. You gotta pay your dues.
Well, like I said, when I started,
I'm not gonna lie, I was even that way once in a while. Like I thought I was one of the brotherhood because I did a handful of trainings. I was like, and it was actually it took Jim Chadwick and Jeff Vickers, God rest both their souls. Yeah. Each at different times pulled me off to the side, said, "You are a goof.
Yeah.
You are not part of this. You did some training. You did a good job. You got a lot of respect.
Right.
But shut your mouth."
Well, it's
and I have to this day.
But the guys will you don't really have to be a wrestler for them to invite you into it, because they'll see like fans that actually come and they'll treat them. They're not part of the wrestling brotherhood, but they'll treat you like some of these guys, man. These wrestlers, like the fans, like Andrew New Brown and Chris Blade. The wrestlers treat those guys great because they're always at the show, and they start being at the show, and they get the respect from the wrestlers because they're such a good, and then everybody treats us really good for being involved in this we do. So it's like they let you in. They do let you in.
Well, I think that the issue,
if you show them respect,
the issue I have, and like I said, props to Andrew. I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah.
To me, there's a difference, and I'm not getting my soapbox on this. There's a difference in you guys who are promoting wrestling.
Yeah.
And you have respect for the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and Andrew and the other guys that have respect for the business.
Yeah.
And they're there. But there's also that fan that wants to be behind the curtain.
Exactly.
And they want to know if Sean Johns is winning the belt tonight.
Yeah.
And they have to know. And then there's always that person in the locker room that tells somebody who gets out the crowd that, oh, Sean Johnson's going over Andy tonight for the title.
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to watch that?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the fans I have a problem with, is the ones that
Scott Diamond, have a good night, brother. He said, got to run, guys. Enjoy, gentlemen. Much love, Stud.
Love you,
Thank
Scott.
You, thank you, Scott Diamond. I appreciate you, man. Go to bed. Take your X-Lax, man. Go to bed.
Woke up,
but
took a big shit. and
but
get
that's
out
the
of bed.
thing. That's the thing that bothers me. You know, I mean, I'm all for fans. We as workers are not. We're nothing without fans. If you have a show and you don't have any fans there,
Yeah.
Did you really have a show?
you're you're TSW.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the thing is you all pay the money to come see us.
Yeah.
And I've always said, enjoy the show,
Respect their show.
respect the show. If you want to boo the hell out of me, boo the hell out of me. That's
Yeah.
fine. If you want to cheer Juicy Jimmy, cheer Juicy Jimmy.
That's right.
Do that, but then realize that you're a fan, and and if any of y'all come to a show, I will.
Yeah.
I will
Well, if we
respect-
was at a show,
I will respect the hell out of you all.
the way a fan should act is if I'm at a show and I know you as personally Stephen Broughton,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
But when I'm at the show, you're a Russian monster.
Right, exactly.
Damn straight.
I'm not going to call you Stephen or
Right.
anything
There
like
you go.
that.
There you
I'm
go.
going to
Right.
respect your gimmick and put you over
Right.
like that.
Damn
Right.
straight.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the way it should be.
But I think too many fans feel like that they have a right to know more than what they should know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, nobody, as I've often said, nobody, and I don't know any. Help me out. I don't know any famous magicians, but
Copperfield.
anyway, David
Yeah.
Copperfield.
Yeah.
If you go to David Copperfield's performance, and he's outside and going, okay, here's how I'm gonna make the Statue of Liberty disappear, and here's how I'm gonna saw the girl in half. Why do you want to buy a ticket for?
Yeah,
exactly.
And Scott Diamond, I hate Scott's got offline. We did a show in Lawrenceburg, and we all went out to the Huddle House or Waffle House, whatever it is in Lawrenceburg there, and we were eating breakfast, and I had a fan come up to me and just started chatting with me, and and I was still in character to a point, and I said, I hated you an hour ago. It doesn't change because I stayed in character, because she's one of those people that's, I saw Andy out at the Waffle House and he was having waffles and he's not that bad of a guy.
Yeah.
That kind of thing,
Yeah.
But those people that want behind the curtain, and I think Juicy Jimmy tweeted today that we tell the fans too much.
Yeah.
Come enjoy the show. I will talk to anybody after the show, as will most heels. And I know baby faces do, and that's great. But don't expect your $10, $12, $15, $20 to get you behind the curtain, because you're sure as hell not going to do it WWE. Oh, I pay for ringside seats. I should be able to go back and hang out in the dressing room with John Cena or
Right.
Rock, or I don't even know if The Rock don't even work anymore. But anyway,
But, yeah.
But my point being, enjoy the show. And they're
Damn straight.
Yeah, damn straight. There you go. So I'm off my soapbox now.
Yeah, I mean they shouldn't do that. When we go
fans
down
should not act like that.
when we go down to Bar Brawl and we become part of the
We
show
help them,
because we don't never we just respect the
that's what I'm
show.
saying.
You got to respect the show.
Yeah, right.
And also, if you want to help out, just help them put away the chairs.
Well, that's
Don't-
what.
don't be
Yeah.
a-
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's and the thing is, getting back to what I said when we first started. A lot of guys got their start. I mean, if you listen to the Studcast, Ron Fuller Studcast, he talks about these guys that that they just kind of helped out. I mean, they showed up the Coliseum and they helped put chairs out, or they helped pick chairs up, or they. Or they picked a gap at the airport, or they, I mean,
Yep.
it's earning your way in, and back in the day, that's how you did it. I mean, you didn't have the aftershock School of Pain, or the new Gen X Academy that Larry runs, and you didn't have Roger Ruffins. I mean, you had to know somebody to get in, and then you just, I mean, I can't legitimately say that I come in the old school way, but I do know I got my ass beat a lot, and by a lot of people.
Yep.
And and every defeat just taught me something. And I guess I'll tell the young workers out there, here's the thing: learn something. If you're getting your ass beat in 3 minutes, learn something that 3 minutes. Learn something you did right. Learn something you did wrong. Go to a veteran after a match and say, "Hey man, what could I have done better?
And
what
always
could I have
pick
done
his
worse?"
brain.
Pick his brain. I mean, that's my thing about it. I mean, I would hate when I hang the boots up, but I would hope that someone would want to pick my brain and say, "Hey,
Exactly.
what can I do? What can I do better? What can I do worse?"
That's right.
And like I said again, on a good damn an average worker, but
Who'd you like wrestling the most? Like, is there anybody that you wrestled the most, that you learned the most from?
like I
You
said,
had so many matches with.
oh God, I've had Juice. I've learned from Jimmy. I've learned from Jeff
Juice
Vickers.
Jimmy.
Like I said, you learn something new every day. Joe Browning, like I said, my boy up in Alcoa, learned a lot from him.
Who's the most famous guy you wrestled? Like, as far as anybody in the WWE or that went to the WWE?
We were at Glensboro one night, and they had brought Rosie in from just before he died. Oh, no, well, I guess a couple years before he died.
Rosie, one of the Samoan guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they brought him in and to work. He was going to work a main event against Cody, I think. I think he was going to work a main event against Cody Matthews. And, they hyped this for weeks at Glensboro. And if you've ever been to Glensboro, Sean Johns can tell you, 25 people is a packed house down there, really, and that's a big crowd. And
That's them hanging from the rafters.
that's him hanging from the rafters, yeah. And so, 2 weeks beforehand, he called and told Big Gun that he wasn't gonna, he didn't want to go on main event. He would go on early. He would be in tag match. And so Big Gun agreed. So he come down, Rosie did, and he pulled up this big Lincoln. He had done a car show at Masters Station, and he pulled this big Lincoln, and he got out and he kind of looked around at Glensboro, which is just the field basically with a barn in the middle of it. And
Madison Square Garden of that town.
Thank you. Yep. And so he was going over the match with us outside, and it was me and Cody and Mike Roach. Shout out to you, Roach, against Rosie, Jared Sloan, and Kevin Starr, and a 6-man. And he was going over the match, and everything he would go with, he would just say, "Do you know how to do a top wrist lock? Do you know?" And he did this 5 or 6 times, and my boy Roach said, "Do you know how to keep a $500,000 a year job?" And we were all like, "Oh, okay." And so we get in there.
That sounds like Roach.
Yeah. So we get in there to work, and it's a 6-man tag, and as Sean will tell you, Roach is a ladies' man. Roach is a he's a how can I say, so rat killer,
Yeah.
So we're in there working, and it's me and Cody and against Rosie and Jared and Kevin Starr. It's almost like a 3-on-2, and Cody's tagging in and out, and they're just blowing us up. I mean, it's just really bad. And at one point, I tagged Cody out, and Cody says, "Go find Roach. For God's sakes, we're getting killed. Go find Roach." So I leave the apron during the match and leave Cody. That's 3-on-1, and I walk outside around the building, and there's Roach. Shall we say, trunks down, and he had he had a
I've heard.
Yeah.
I didn't see the act. I wasn't at that
Right.
show.
Yeah.
But I heard the story.
And so I just kind of knock on the paneling, and I said, "Hey, Roach, man, match is going on, and I love you, Roach." And he literally does kick it in high gear, honey. And the next thing I know, he takes the hot tag from Cody, and Cody's like, "Where's he been?" I was like, "It's Roach." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So
He's passed away now?
no, Roach is
No,
still
he's
around.
still-
Oh, I
he's
thought you
still
said
alive.
you looked
No,
up. I was like,
I love Roach. I love
okay.
Roach.
But he'll make you pull your hair out.
He'll make
if
you
you
hang
know.
on, yeah. And so I think Rosie backed Cody in the corner, and he just literally knocked the dog shit out of Cody, the forearm, and Cody was like, "Man, what's going on? Ease up, man, ease up." And so I think he got Cody again, and he said, "That's how we do it in the WWE," and Cody clocked him in the jaw and said, "That's how we do it in Glensboro."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Now, if you want to work, we can work. If you want to shoot, we can shoot."
Damn straight.
And
I think Tommy was working the show that night.
Tommy.
Crazy Tommy in the
God.
Tennessee hat.
Yeah, oh Lord, that's one of my top 10 people to hate in the business. Him and Waterboy.
Yeah.
You know, so. But yeah.
So did you get in a ring with Rosie?
Got in the ring with Rosie. Rosie Stiff, and but I've worked with Rosie. When I first started out, I worked down in London, and when Wildcat Chris Harris was a big star and still is.
Yeah, we got to meet him last weekend.
Great guy.
Up
Great
at
guy.
Great guy.
Great guy.
Northern Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, great guy. And we were doing in London, and I was doing under a hood and a run in, and you know they told the Chris Harris said, you know, hey, if you want to punch the masked man as he hits the ring, you can. And I was the masked man. I was about 3 years in, and so I hit the ring, and in the back, Chris Harris said, you want my work punch or my shoot punch? And I said, well, brother, you know, just lay it in there, man. It's just an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, I hit the ring, and, I mean, he hit me, like, right here. And, you know, the cartoons where you can feel the hat doing this?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. I mean, literally,
He's
I
a
could feel
big
it.
guy.
And, I mean, and he was like, I said, thank you. And, I mean, I was seeing stars, man. But I was like, well.
Yeah.
But I've never, I mean, Rosie, Wildcat Chris Harris, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, I've worked a lot, but never worked anybody really famous. I mean, it's just, I never have been in that spot to work anybody famous, which is not a regret. I mean, I've been on cards with Tracy Smothers. God rest your soul, Tracy.
Yeah.
Yes, God rest your soul, Tracy. You know, like I said, Rosie, Wildcat Harris, most of Roger Ruffin's guys that have went on to bigger things. I mean, I've been on shows with them.
Yeah. We got to meet him too up at in
NWF.
NWF, yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He really is. He
It
put us
really
over.
is.
He refed, what match did he ref at WrestleMania, Sean? It was
I think it was
Michaels.
Shawn Michaels and Tito Santana.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah.
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 Cool guy, really cool guy, really nice guy.
Yeah. Roger.
It was the one that had in Indianapolis, WrestleMania 8, I do believe.
Okay. Well, good deal. Yeah, I figured you would know that.
Yeah.
I do.
You and Blade know all the
He
facts.
is the wrestling encyclopedia.
There you go.
Bobby Blaze said, love Chris Harris. He's my all-time favorite opponent.
Why don't you get a Christmas card from Dean Ambrose, Blade? Tell the Nice Guy Andy podcast why you don't get a Christmas card from Dean Ambrose.
I'm just a
please
fan,
tell
and
us.
I got one.
I
What's
got
up,
one,
Bob?
Bobby. What's up?
There you go. Say hey.
Come on, Bobby. Tell us the story.
Come on, Blade. You know you want to.
I remember there was a short time Bobby Blade was sick and couldn't eat meat for a short while till his immune system got right. We were all doing things. He's sitting there cutting promos. I'm sitting there working security, but I'm egging him on. I'm like, cheeseburger. He goes, I will kill you. Shut up.
Man, Sean Johns knows more about Bobby Blade's intestinal system than I really want to know.
Oh, God.
I mean, you
He
know,
said,
really.
Roger also ref Piper and Bret Hart. That's
Okay.
right.
There you go. See, there you go. You can be replaced, Sean. We can bring Blade.
That's
in
right,
there.
Sean.
Hey, I can be replaced.
The
That's
wrestling
fine.
encyclopedia, Bobby Blade.
There you go. There you go. The icon.
That's
Don't
right.
feed
the
his
icon.
ego.
You don't have to feed
He
Blade.
can break
There you go.
Ed Smith with him.
There you go. Ed is. Blade, I'm shocked, Blade. I'm shocked you're online, Blade. I figured you'd be out mowing your yard at this time of night. You know? So,
Where's the coke-filled sock?
watching your water heater, one of the two.
Or
So,
both.
Or both at the same time. Carrying the water heater with you on the lawnmower.
You know, me, Andy, and Chris Blade went down to New South Crossfire
Yes,
before
sir.
the show.
Yeah.
We helped them set up the ring and tear it down
Well, good
later
deal.
on.
I've always said if you ever set a wrestling ring up, you'll never get in one because they're amazing to look at.
A lot of people swear up and down, it's just the trampoline with sound effects. I'm like,
It's not.
no.
There's no sound effects.
No.
There are some rings that feel like you're laying in bed with your woman, and there are some rings where just take me out in the parking lot. That's a hell of a lot softer.
New South has a really nice ring. They have
Yeah.
Glensboro,
It really
Glensboro,
does.
that's the only thing Glensboro had for it was a really nice ring, and it was high, and
Yep.
they would always have a battle royal every Sunday, and nobody wanted to go over the top rope because it was over the top, and then you had another 10 feet once you got over the top rope because it
Yep.
was on a big platform.
yeah.
There was a ring, and I won't mention the name, but we were told not to bump on the star. Jimmy knows that one. We were doing a show one night, and Jimmy come in for a one-off, just one-time shot in, and we were having a battle royal it was on a contract on a pole match, and
A battle royal and a contract? Like,
yeah, it was a battle royal with the pole with the contract
oh,
on a
wow.
pole. Okay.
So if you got
yes,
thrown
yep.
over the top, you couldn't
Right,
climb the pole
right,
to get the.
right,
Gotcha.
right. So I look up, and all of a sudden Jimmy's by himself, and he's looking at the pole, and that kind of thing, and nobody's near him, and the promoter's screaming from the back, "Get the cluff, get the cluff, get the cluff." And so I kind of wander over, and I'm like, "What's going on, Jimmy?" And he's like, "I guess they'll have to bring me back if I get the contract."
If I get the contract.
And I'm like, "No, Jimmy, don't do that." And he's like, "Well, they never told me I couldn't have it." So we're having this conversation over in the corner, and I think somebody finally climbed the pole and got it. And then the next week we got yelled at because somebody about let Jimmy get the contract. And the promoter's exact words were, I'd have had to pay that fat ass another $50 if he got that contract to come back in. And I bet he'd like to have you now, Jimmy, or wouldn't want to have you now because I know you're up to a hundo, as you say, you're a hundo deal.
Yep.
So, but anyway, any other questions? I mean, this has been good.
Anybody online got any questions for Stud?
Storm, Anthony Presley said,
Anthony Presley said our rings at New South was made by Mike Samples at Monster Rings and Cages. Yeah, they do good work making their rings.
anyone else
But there's
got any
been
questions
rings
for Wrestling
that
Monster?
it's better off getting slammed on the parking lot outside. It's crazy.
Did Samples make the Glensboro ring, Anthony, or no? I don't even know who made that ring.
Who was it, Anthony Presley? Chime
Remember
in.
MWA before they went to the Monster Rings and Cages ring had that dinosaur wooden ring. Good Lord.
That's what I trained in.
The wooden
Yeah.
ring. You trained in the wooden ring.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The wooden ring is the one that has
There's no
gear.
mat there, just a bunch of carpet samples.
Yes. Yes.
Joe Shad said Blade is the man on YouTube.
Yeah.
He really is.
He said, he made the one at Glensboro.
Yep. He
That
did.
was the softest ring I've ever bumped in, I think.
Yeah.
So.
At least it was a slope porch.
Don't let Bobby make the ring.
Yeah, for sure.
If Bobby made the ring, it'd be a slope.
Oh my gosh, Bobby.
So did Anthony? Did he announce his New South's Upstart's new the first match? The first.
He said,
show?
"Oh wow." Bobby said, "Tell the other Kentucky Stud story."
Uh-oh.
Row.
So as most of y'all know,
I think I remember this story, but
as most of y'all know, Jared Sloan was the Kentucky Stud also, and I didn't know that. I know when he worked for what was it, DCW? I think Dixie Championship, which was like kind of the farm system of OVW at the time. But anyway, I had no idea who Jared Sloan was, Kentucky Stud. I had no idea, and I got a call one day from a promoter in Indiana that won the Kentucky Stud. And I said, "Sure, I'll come up. That's great," because I thought I was the Kentucky Stud. So I drive up to someplace in the middle of nowhere, and I walk in and I set my bag down. And I said to the guy, "Hi, I'm the Kentucky Stud." He's like,
"Oh, you know."
"No, I wanted the good-looking one." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean the good-looking one?" And he's like, "The one that looks like a Greek god." And I was like, "Oh, well,
That's
I'm
not
the only
me.
Kentucky Stud I know." And he was like, "Well, it's not you."
Wow.
Bye. Okay, so months later, I'm doing a battle royal for MWA at Winchester, and Jared Sloan walks up to me and he says, "Hi, I'm the Kentucky Stud." And I was like,
"No, you know."
"No, I'm the Kentucky Stud." And he's like, "I have to tell you," he said, "I got called by a promoter in West Virginia to come up," and he said, "I just blindly went up," and he said, "I walked in," I said, "Hi, I'm the Kentucky Stud," and they said, "No, we want the big bald guy." Kentucky Stud. And I was like, "Well, I had this happen in Indiana," and he was like, "We both missed out on booking." So
Yeah.
So then, but Jared is.
Shout out to my older brother Jared. He's not really my brother, but
We did a show one night in Austin, Indiana, and we rode up with Jared Sloan, and it was me and Jared and Jimmy and Jennifer and Bob Murdoch was on the show. Cody, Roach, anyway. And on the way back, we get in the car to go back, and it starts raining, and it's raining, and it's raining, and it gets harder and harder. And Jared's windshield wipers don't work on his car. And and Jared is doing what every smart man does. He's trying to outrun the rain at 65, 70 miles an hour down 64. And Jimmy and I are in the back seat, and we're just, this is part of wrestling life. I mean, you just, but we're hydroplaning every time the wheels turn, We're hydroplaning. And, you know, and I'm getting scared, and Jimmy's getting a little panicked, and Jimmy says, "Stud, hold my hand." And I said, and I hope you don't get knocked off the air, Andy. I said, "No, you fat faggot, I don't want to die in this car and it burn up and them think we're a couple." And so I never did hold Jimmy's hand, and I think we got through the monsoon that, you know, and Jared cussing the whole time, and for some reason, I don't
And
know
he
why.
hardly ever cuss. Well, I'd never heard him cuss
Yeah.
too much, but
And for some reason, we had to go by the OVW building on Shepherdsville Road. I don't know why. We had to drive by there for Jared to show us, I guess, where he trained at or something in a monsoon. So, but yeah, that was the Memphis or Austin, Indiana travel story from Jared, and Jimmy wanted to hold my hand in the back seat. So.
We definitely got to get Jimmy Fletcher on here one
Jimmy
day.
Felcher.
Yes, you need to. Yes,
Not Fletcher.
Jimmy would
Felcher.
be great on here. You know,
Yeah,
he would,
Jimmy
You would get
would.
knocked off the air in 5 minutes, Andy.
Oh, yeah?
He would have me knocked off the air.
Well,
in
we
5
don't
minutes.
want that.
Yeah.
I did one day of training for MWA. They were running shows up here at the old Continental Inn back in
Yes.
the day. And before then, I would always call the hotline they had and try to reserve front row seats with Larry, one of the promoters, bookers,
Yeah.
the Patriot, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
He's not wrestling in a while. I don't think he'll care. But, and I did that, and they announced a fantasy camp with the MWA. You pay $50. You get to train with MWA for the day. And I think they had, like, they mentioned you, like, this guy trained with us? Or no, maybe they didn't. I was the only one that took the offer to sign up for the fantasy camp. I literally thought, like a lot of non-people do, that ring wasn't soft. I helped them set up the ring, and it's slowly dawning in my head. This ain't soft. I may not feel good tomorrow. And I didn't. I was in there, you know, I started doing the calisthenics, get, you know, cardio going up, and then the guys in the ring. So, first bump I took was a hip lock from Tuffy.
What's the dead daddy story?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Tell the
God.
bad dads.
Oh, God, I think.
Oh,
Okay, so,
Who's Joe Shad?
Okay, Joe was Joe Ferrari. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Joe Shad. So I had been, I'd had a total of 3 matches, and Kyle Short Bus had a total of 2. We trained together, and I got Kyle on at EICW, which was the predecessor to Total Shit Wrestling. Is Mark Murphy's dad's fed down there, EICW. Boys, drink 'em. Don't drink any beer before you go to your match. That was kind of the mantra in the back. But anyway, so Kyle and I worked up a angle with a total of 5 matches to our name. Of Kyle's dad had died, and he was a champion, and his name was Frank Kincaid. Was his name, Frank? God love you, Frank. And
Kyle Kincaid.
Frank,
was his guy. I remember that.
Kyle buried Frank with his belt, with a title belt. that I
Okay.
had. The old WWE Winged Eagle title
Yep.
belt.
nice.
And so at the time, I had a robe off eBay, as Jeff Vickers said. It had tinsel on it. And anyway, so Kyle and I came up with this angle where we would. I had dug Kyle's dad up to steal the belt from him from the grave.
Okay.
And so Kyle come out, and Kyle, God love him, he didn't have any wrestling gear at the time. He had a polo shirt and a pair of khakis and a pair of yellow canary boots that somebody had loaned him. Mass Superstar number 84 something in the back
Yep.
had loaned him. And he comes out and he cuts a promo. And a lot of y'all know my dad, Frank Kincaid. He was a superstar here. And there's no Frank Kincaid. This guy's just made up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you can hear people going, I remember Frank. Frank
God, yes.
was a great guy.
He was a good guy. Yeah, we remember him.
Had dinner
Never
with him a lot.
happened.
And he's saying, my dad died, and I buried him with his belt. It was a belt he won here, and and people are just, I mean, he's just sucking them in.
Yeah.
And
Hanging on every
I would
word.
like to have a 10
Eating
bell
out the
salute.
palm of his hand.
So they start the 10 bell, and they get to like 5, and I come out of the dressing room, and I'm fake crying, and I loved your dad, I loved your mom more, and I opened the robe, and there's the belt. And he says, my daddy had that belt. And I said, well, I pried it from his cold, dead hands, and I have and I have to give Mike Elam credit for this. He told me to say, he says hi, he's a little blue. Props to you, Elam.
Oh my God.
And so we get in the ring, and we, instead of, as you would think, if somebody had dug your dad up and stole a belt, you'd be pissing fire and firing up. But we did the bear on the roof spot 3 times where we're hitting the ropes, and Kyle does this, and I look up, and he karate chops me on the face, and I bump, and Kyle weighs, what you figure, 160 pounds?
Yep.
Soaking
That's reaching.
Yeah. So
With
Kyle,
a soaking
I'm
wet
bumping.
with a brick in each pocket. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm bumping for Kyle at 300 plus pounds, and he's 160, and we're bumping all over the ring, and and we're just doing basically almost like a comedy match, and so.
But the fans were eating it up.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they were eating it up or not, but my second cousin was there, and he had on an ESPN T-shirt, and they thought he was from ESPN.
Oh wow.
Let me tell you, Mike Murphy's goofiness goes way back. So he's filming it with just a little handheld camera like you have.
Yeah.
And he's filming it just to film it. And they gave him total access to everything because they thought he was from ESPN.
Yeah.
And so he films the match. Match is over.
Of course, your cousin just ate it up too.
Right,
He went with it.
Right. So after the thing, he sends the tape to me one day, and I'm just like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" So I watch it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is pretty good. This is the stupidest stuff ever." So I thought I would just show Jeff. So I get a copy made, and I give it to Jeff. Well, somehow or another, it is now on YouTube.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Really is.
Yes, you can watch it.
Okay.
And,
where's that at? What?
It would be under, I don't know who's got it. I think if you just Google Kentucky Stud,
Okay.
Dead Daddy match, I think. And
Okay. Dead Daddy match.
The best one is, I think there's 2 things, but the best one is the one that Elam does commentary on.
He's
please,
going to do it now.
please don't pull that up, Andy.
Yeah. Pull that right
You
there.
done started it.
You won't be able,
Luckily-
nobody will be able to see
You
it.
can't
Luckily,
unring
only
that
we
bell
can see
stud.
Yeah, I know. But so somehow or another,
Here,
I think every
I'll-
worker,
I'll do it.
I think every worker has a copy of it somehow, and it is the world's worst match. But like I said, we had a total of 5 matches between us, and
Still got Nikki
why any promoter would let
pushed
me
clear.
come up with our own angle 5 matches in, like I said, and it was horrible. It was really bad, and Sean Johnson's going to pull up here now, and
Was the
it's-
crowd
You started
reacting
it.
at least?
I know. No, they were not into it.
Oh man,
They were waiting for Marvelous Mike.
that
to come
means
out.
that means that was a stinker, really.
Yeah, they were waiting for Marvelous Mike to come out and wrestle for the 5th time that night or whatever against his dad as a heel or baby or whatever.
Hmm.
So,
Maybe.
If it comes up, it comes up.
it will. I don't know. Maybe took it down.
Luckily, the fans can't see it.
It was KY, or do I have to spell
It's
like
KY,
Kentucky?
yeah, KY. Yeah.
KY. Kentucky Stud.
I don't know if it's under match or what.
Well, we'll try a match.
Well.
See if that's it.
Yeah, because I remember he mentioned
Push
it
search
on.
there, yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Let's see.
Maybe it's not been on there. Hopefully, let's hope not.
He did mention it on
Thankfully, it's
his
not.
own podcast. Kyle did.
Yeah. We're gonna supposedly he talks about every year we're gonna do the remake of it, and it never happens. So
That's right.
Thankfully, it will never happen.
I
again.
hopefully it will never happen again because
Just pick
I don't
up
want to
the
dig
tape.
Frank back
I'll
up.
let you do
you
it.
know. So
I mean, Frank
Oh, yeah, we
could
might
go
do Dead
one more
Daddy
match.
match.
he could.
He still got that title after all.
Yeah. Well, no. I hope they didn't rebury him with it. So
Yeah, that's funny.
Hey,
Yes,
you're in
that's-
luck. It's not on YouTube.
there we go.
Oh, that we know of.
That we know of. If I find it, I'll be sure to make sure it's taken down. Because that's one memory I don't want to have in the business.
That's right.
So,
Because that's something that you didn't like.
well, no, it's not that. It's just we should have not been having a match of that magnitude. Of course, it was probably the best match of the night on that card. So
True.
you know, with the Willie gloves.
Yeah, should have done Dead Daddy match.
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't see it on YouTube. So, folks, Russian Monster is safe.
Mike Woody,
on
thanks for
YouTube.
watching. Donna, Donna Phillips, thanks for watching.
Appreciate you, Mike Woody. Best mask maker.
Mike Woody makes the best mask there is in the business. I have to say that. I've never met Mike, but I've seen his work, and he makes incredible.
Some of his
masks.
works made it to AEW.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
Preston Vance, number 10 from the Dark Order, and I think it was number 5.
We've been trying to get him to finish up the mask for Vandito. Come on, Woody, we need a Vandito mask.
We really do.
And Mike Woody, I know you're going through depression right now, brother. We're all pulling for you to pull through this.
We love you, Mike Woody.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, no.
There we go. There we go.
No.
But anyway, I found about that.
There you are.
There I am.
The
Yeah,
younger
Kentucky
one.
stud.
Yeah, the in shape Kentucky stud.
Yep.
So
Well,
yeah.
you're still in shape now.
Yeah.
Round is
round
a shape.
is a shape. Yeah.
Hey,
Thanks, Sean.
hey, you've been hitting those weights. I can tell.
Yeah, I've been hitting the buffets. What I've been hitting.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
that's a
right back,
workout
guys.
too.
I've been lifting the spoon to my mouth and fork. So,
Hey, that's a workout. Your muscles still get some build up.
yeah,
There you are.
Yeah.
At you.
Is that you, like,
that's me cutting a promo. I think after we just got through eating at the Chinese buffet, I think, or something, in massive Barberville, Kentucky.
Oh
So,
man,
yeah,
and that's right before the.
yeah. Here's Kyle and his polo and his.
is that him there?
That's him and his
Okay.
baggy pants and and that mass crowd and
Yeah.
the referee was the most over person in the.
Oh, the whole crowd
Yeah,
had
look
masks
at him. Look
on.
at the referee working the crowd.
Yeah, chicken legs, or chicken legs or whatever his name. I don't know what his name was, but he was.
He's working the crowd by working those ropes.
Yeah.
Look at those yellow canary boots.
Oh, I know. Mass Superstar '84 gave it to him or whatever. So
With cargo pants and white shirt.
cargo pants and white shirt. He had no gear. So
Nice.
So he's talking about his daddy right there, I
his
guess.
daddy's
Yep.
dead, and he was a great wrestler. And like I said, you have to understand this comes from a I mean.
Yeah.
There's
There you are.
the
There you are.
robe
There's your eBay robe,
with
right?
the eBay robe on, and
Like you're missing some glitter
I'm
there.
missing a lot of glitter there.
Yeah.
I got lucky to win the bid on that thing right there.
Yeah.
I think it was $50 and it was $49 too much.
That's right.
So, but here's the famous. I was trying to shimmy off, but I don't have a shimmy.
And there's the belt.
Oh, there's the belt. Oh, there's his daddy's belt.
That's his daddy's belt that we dug out. Yeah. Yeah.
Big gold winged eagle.
Yeah.
You're in pretty good shape there.
I know it was. That's kind of sad to see.
How long
that.
ago was that?
This was 17 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I
He was
mean,
a Russian monster.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's
that
what
was
I was
the
gonna-
big
Still
eagle.
are the Russian monster.
I was in good shape then, man. I'm telling you.
This is what this.
I
one
thought
is
you were
with
going to jump
weights
over the
hard.
top rope.
No, but
like you pulled back like that.
I come in the hard way here, and I uttered I uttered shit as I come across the top rope, and I got fined for it. And I told Willie, "How can you fine me for something you don't pay me anything?" So
Oh, wow. Okay.
I took
Nice bump
I
there.
bumped more than Kyle did. you know.
And you did a good
Yeah,
job
look,
there.
it's
Replay.
replay.
Look at replay
Of
it.
course.
Oh, wow. Yeah, nice bump. Oh, he's on top of you
But
beating.
you see,
His little bitty guy's beating you up.
Look at this. I mean, like, people could care less.
Who's the rough there? He looks like he has a toupee on.
chicken legs or whatever there?
Yeah, chicken legs.
toupee chicken legs.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
you're working the crowd.
I'm not working anything. I'm already blown up at this point.
And this was
You know,
like your
Mr.
third match,
Presley,
you said?
Anthony
My third
Presley,
match
thank you
ever.
for the 200 stars.
Thank
So-
you, Anthony Presley.
So this was
Appreciate
your
you.
third match ever.
ever, and this is Kyle's second.
His second, your third. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's just letting you just stand
Yeah, I
there.
know.
And
know.
what
Like,
promotion
if
was
you were
this?
re-
This was
Like-
CCC with
ETCW.
green.
This was Mike Murphy's dad's promotion.
Okay, Mike Murphy's dad's promotion. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that.
You were greener.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
now
out
he's
grass.
checking. There you go. Get
Yeah,
your cheap
there you go.
heat.
This is the worst.
Oh, that wasn't bad. That wasn't a bad.
It wasn't that great of a clothesline.
It wasn't that great of a clothesline. Yeah.
Looks like you really knocked his head off.
The
though.
white socks and the boots with the string hanging down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your
Yeah.
gear looks good. Your gear looks good.
Oh, I always had good gear.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
gear looks
You
good.
always have great gear.
Jeff Vickers used to say, if your gear matched half your talent, we'd be good. You know, so,
That's right.
That's
that'd
true.
be good. You know.
Oh.
Oh man,
Yeah, this was supposed to just be seen by me and Jeff Vickers, and
you
as
you can
see-
actually see how
So
green
you're-
both of you are.
So your cousin was the ESPN
Yeah, he's
guy.
the ESPN guy. He had a shirt on, and
Yeah.
They
give
thought,
him
oh
total
my God,
access.
we might get on ESPN.
Yeah, right.
And this was supposed to be private footage for just
Yeah,
you
right.
and Vicky.
I just he.
Only
I
one's
had no
supposed to
idea.
see it with
Here
the
it is.
Yeah.
people in the
right.
crowd.
You can see they're just
I wonder who uploaded it. Probably someone trying to rip.
Michael Elam,
Mike Elam,
Oh man,
Michael J. Cornett.
the riot starter in Madison by
he is ripping.
Oh my
you
God, I
good.
remember that.
Oh, look at that.
Whoa, look up, huh?
There it
Duh.
is. That's what you were
Mm.
talking about just now. When he
What?
said look up and you look up. And
Look what he did. He broke out of my daddy's. He goes, I'll fall for you this time.
I wonder if I could get away with playing it.
I don't know.
Somebody else's. It's somebody else's YouTube. I probably
Yeah,
wouldn't be able
probably
to.
couldn't. So
you wouldn't be able to.
We'd have to ask Mike Elam. I don't
Yeah,
think
you'd
he'd
have to
care.
ask
I
him.
don't think you would care.
But you could see where both y'all are still green.
Oh, we're green. We're green as goose shit.
Yeah,
man.
he's probably he's not monetized either. I'm sure. We're
Yeah.
not-
Green would be an improvement.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
This is browner than shit.
I love you both,
No, it's great.
but it's
Like I said, this is
This
like
is,
you said. You've had 3 matches. He's had two.
Yeah.
telling the story does not do it justice, but seeing it on camera.
Oh, it does.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
This is not one of my prouder moments. I'm gonna tell you.
Yep,
in 18
because,
years.
Oh, doing the dreaded 10 punches
Yeah.
of doom.
But if you notice, his fists are going over your head.
Yeah, he was just scraping my head. And then I think the referee shows his legs here for some reason. I
Yeah,
don't know
for
why.
some reason.
Yeah.
He's trying to get over
Is
with,
he
get
trying
over the
to-
crowd.
Okay.
What's he saying?
I don't remember what
Hey,
he was saying.
he's pulling up his leg and looking at
Pulling up his
Kyle
pant
like he's saying
leg.
stuff.
Kind of like what an old lady would do back in the day, pulling their pant leg
Right.
up to get a ride or something.
Right.
And this match right here is not your finest hour.
Oh, slapping him.
This shit.
That's the chop.
It's
Chop. Fuck a chop.
Yeah, I don't throw him as great as Tuffy does. So.
Yeah, Tuffy has some tough chops.
Yeah.
You have not felt one of his chops. You really should, Johnny.
Right.
I know that.
Who was that going? Oh,
That's Elam doing the commentary over top
Yep.
of it.
yeah. Okay.
That was not a great clothesline either.
Well-
what you just did.
I got it playing over the top of it.
Oh, nice.
How about 10?
Huh?
I'm cutting out at 10.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Well, that's
fine.
what we finished.
Yeah.
That's
At
fine,
10
bro.
we
You-
always
If
go
you
out
need to
there.
go, you can go
No,
anytime.
no. I didn't
Yeah.
want to, I didn't want
We
Yes,
to.
usually
sir.
go
Yes,
like
sir.
till 10.
And we,
Yeah,
we,
that's
we
usually when we
appreciate
stop.
having you in here because
Well, no problem, man. No problem. I just,
Yeah, it's like
I've had
it's,
a long day. I think everybody's had a long day.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're at
Yeah.
like 9:48 right
We're
now.
good. We're good, man.
and we appreciate you because we love hearing your stories.
Yes,
like
sir.
this right here, this is a once in a
This is
lifetime
great
gem right
laughing.
here.
Yeah.
As if you're watching us on Facebook now and YouTube and everywhere else, we are showing the match.
The infamous Dead Daddy match.
Yep.
I'm going to preface this by saying I'd had 3 matches and Kyle had 2. And,
Who's? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, and we come up with this storyline on the drive from Lexington to Barberville, Kentucky, and the promoter was dumb enough to let us run our own angles when he had just met us like a couple weeks beforehand. So
Is
Yeah.
that what's his face, man? The
That's fun.
holding the mic. Is that
I don't really know who
Savage?
that is.
Whose YouTube
Oh,
is this?
that was
Let me see
nice
who's-
line.
Mike Elam? Michael
Elam.
Elam.
Yeah.
Michael Elam's. Go to
He's
Mike-
Michael J. Cornett from wrestling. Follow him on Facebook. He's
Yeah.
a good guy. If you need a car, he works for CarMax. So he'll sell you a car.
Yep.
And it won't be a
Hope he don't care that we're showing his YouTube channel.
I'm
I
sure
hope
you
not.
don't. It's
Yeah.
you don't get as you can see it's been around for 6 years. It got 381 views, so it's not.
Maybe we'll get him some more views.
Yeah, maybe it's up to 382 now. You
This is
know,
a once in a lifetime gem right here.
there you go with the plastic steps.
Keyword once in a
We
lifetime.
we were so blown up. I mean, it was
Yeah.
it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell.
Is this guy that you're wrestling? Is he still wrestling? Is he still?
I
He
don't-
kinda does
every now and then.
occasionally.
Yeah, every now and then.
But he does. He was here on
He's a
103.3.
Yeah, he's
he
a
was
traveling comedian now.
Traveling comedian.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
disc
Still
jockey,
Still use those boots?
former indie worker. He does do
Now
a
he
podcast. He borrowed those boots from somebody.
The thing was he had no gear,
Yeah.
and so on the ride down, I was like, dude, we can't tell him you don't have any gear, and so he went in and I don't know why, he told me we had done a show in Cleveland the night before, and all his gear had been stolen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
right out
one
of the
of-
trunk of his car when
one,
he
one
stopped
of the
at
mass
the gas station.
superstars,
Yeah,
who was also the A&P meat manager, would work the show in between on his lunch breaks.
yeah.
Classy place that I worked for there. And everybody there was had no gear, and Kyle included.
That was a nice suplex.
That's about the only thing I have in my arsenal is a suplex, and the only reason I have that is because I worked on that, ad nauseum during training. That was really that and getting the shit.
How
kicked
tall
out.
are you?
6'4".
6'4". Okay.
Damn, you're tall.
I didn't know they could stack shit that high. As they
Well,
always say when they.
look how tall you are, Sean. So we know-
Exactly.
we know
I'm
to
not
stack
that much
shit
shorter
high.
than you, so.
Yeah.
And that's a.
Don't ask me what this hold is. It just. This was a rest hold, people, right here.
It looks
Yeah.
like
He's
it's
catching
supposed
your
to be a
breath.
bow and
Catch my
arrow.
breath. Yeah, it was
And-
nerves and bone. Like you can see, people are just like, "What's going on?"
And
Yeah.
it looks like a bow
They're
and arrow
talking about,
gun
did
half
you
that
hear
shit.
Sandy coming in?
I'm telling you, the guy
He's
doing
tapping out.
the guy with the camera was doing good job.
Yeah,
wasn't
I
he?
know he was, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Oh, except for there.
yeah. The guy with the camera's doing a great
Yeah.
job.
Now he's
You
doing
can tell that old lady there, she could give a.
I mean, like, yeah, you're kind of losing. Yeah,
the crowd's like, fuck
they
this match.
could care less. Like I said, they were waiting on Mike Murphy to come out and wrestle them for 20th time.
Yeah.
In the night and stuff. So.
They could care less. Look
Yeah.
at it.
No, they could. No, really, they could care less.
That old lady right there does not
Exactly.
like this match.
Yeah.
See, she's just there staring at you like, liking this match in.
Wow, he throws you out of the ring, then bumps. Okay.
Oh, are you going to the top rope? You're going to the top
I'm going
rope?
to the top
Oh
rope.
my
Uh-oh.
goodness! Oh my goodness! How much did you weigh at that time?
I was about 285.
Okay, cool.
A flying wrestling
6'3". Oh man, I wanted to see you fly off the
Yeah,
top of that rope.
Let me tell you something, Andy. I had no idea when I got up there. I think I got a nosebleed up there. I never been up
like,
there.
Oh, man.
What the shit do I do now? I'm up
Save
top
me
here.
now! Save me
Save
now!
me now. Kick
Kyle
me.
Thor kick, and he totally whiffed it.
Yeah. And I sold it. That's the sad thing about it is I sold it.
Oh, man.
As you can see, this was a comedy match. This was never going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
This
is
is-
definitely.
Oh,
not-
what'd you pull
You're
out?
never
You
gonna
pulled
see
a
this
fork?
on-
Pulled a chain out. You know,
Chain
the
out of
dreaded
your-
chain,
uh-oh.
and I put it in Kyle's pocket. Listen,
Oh,
like I said,
suplex.
yeah.
That way, when
Oh.
he beats you, you're like, ref, he hit me
There
with the
you
chain.
go.
He's gonna
Hey,
is he gonna suplex you now? No.
Oh, no.
He got you in the head, the dreaded head.
I don't know why. I mean, like
Oh,
Oh,
he did.
well, that was a passable clothesline.
Referee like one.
Weakest 3 count I've
That is
ever
the
seen.
weakest.
that was the
Yeah.
weakest ref move I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
The
I have
referee's
never
like,
seen a referee do that.
You went over. Yeah, he.
The only time that I've seen a referee count like that.
he
is
got
when they're
down like
supposed to
he
be-
didn't want to stop
like,
that.
he-
No,
there.
he didn't. He didn't know the finish. Is what it was, and you know why? Because we didn't know the finish. I think that was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So,
he didn't know.
No, he had no idea.
Oh,
never
he just
asked.
disqualified him, didn't he?
Oh, they saw the chain.
Yeah.
Chain.
No, he disqualified him. He took it away from him.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
uh-oh.
He's gonna go down
1,
again.
2,
Feet
3.
on the bottom
Yeah,
rope.
feet on the
Yep.
bottom rope. That's a great heel move right there.
That was, you hit him with the chain, and then
Yeah. And-
but look, the referee had just
I
turned
was-
his head and could have saw.
Yeah, the old lady got up when you did that though. She was
was-
all right.
The
I
old
was
lady's
too
pissed.
close.
She's like, you son of a bitch.
I was
Look
too
at her.
grown up
She's
to get on
cussing
feet.
you. Look at
Oh,
her.
my dentures.
That old lady's cussing you
Oh,
right.
yeah, there's no.
She's getting up out of her seat.
There you go.
Yeah, you got the. You showed her your ass.
There you go.
Winner, Kentucky Stud.
There we go.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I showed her my ass because that whole match was an ass, really.
Yeah.
But see, I'm gonna be a nice guy here and let Kyle have his daddy's belt back and everything. See, I'm
Yep. He got
such
his.
a nice guy.
He got his daddy's belt.
There
back.
you go. No.
Psych.
So like,
That was a shoot kick. I slipped actually, and I think I broke one of his ribs. I'm not sure.
Oh, my
So
God.
yeah,
Oh really?
but yeah, Yeah, that was the whole deal. We got somebody with Insane Clown Posse mask on.
Yeah, just face
Yeah.
paint, just for no reason.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
working the crowd now. Working the crowd at the end there.
Now there's a promo.
Yeah. Still from ESPN, mind you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And he going up onto the camera.
yeah,
That's wild.
I
That's
couldn't
some
get
wild
close enough.
stuff.
There you go,
That's some
folks.
wild
Check that
stuff.
out. Mike Elam needs all the views. he can
Yeah.
get.
Yes, he
Go-
does.
Yes, it does.
Hopefully we won't get in trouble for that. But Mike Elam, go to Mike Elam's YouTube channel and check out
That's
that
right.
whole thing.
There you go, and you can watch me blink 1,000 times during my.
Yeah, that is $1,000.
Yeah, you had sweat in your eyes or something.
Sweat in my eyes, and I don't know what else I had. So
You're right up onto the camera,
Yeah.
blinking fast.
yeah,
This is actually a golden opportunity
this
too,
was good.
because this was supposed to be only seen by you and Jeff Vickers, and
Right.
it ended up on YouTube.
And if you'll notice, Kyle comes.
Oh, now he does,
Kyle's in the same dressing room area as I am.
and now he's blinking a million miles.
Yeah. If you were a heel, if you were a baby, you went out that door, and if you were a heel, you went out the other door. And they would rotate. They would alternate. You know, they would tell you, hey, you're a heel, go out the other door. So, yeah. Cable access TV was wonderful in Barbara.
Yeah.
So we're getting to where we're 2 hours in, and you know you got to go. You got to leave at 10. So at this point, I let everybody say their last words. And go ahead, Johnny.
Ooh.
I just want to say thank you to all the fans that tuned in tonight. We love you, Bobby Blade, even though your porch is still sloped. I want to say thank you for giving us the time out of your day, Wrestling Monster. It's been enlightening.
Thank you.
I want to thank Sean Johns here.
Thanks, sir.
He's great. I want to thank our gracious host,
Well,
Nice
thank
Guy
you.
Andy.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Mike Elam for giving us the gym that just keeps on giving.
It's like syphilis. It just keeps on
Go ahead,
going.
Sean.
That's right.
I want to thank everybody that chimed in the comments. Thank you. Everybody that watching, Anthony Presley, thank you for the 2 stars. I want to thank my 2 co-hosts here, Nice Guy Andy, Super Fly Johnny Lee, new gimmick. Stud, it's always a pleasure
Thank
to
you. Thank
chill
you.
with
Thank
you as always.
Thank you.
Some of these stories you've told, I've heard and love and laugh about. And everybody stay nice.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Monster.
Want to thank Andy and Johnny and Sean for having me on here. Really looking forward to this. This is anybody wants to come on here. The first class organization, first class setup.
Thank you.
Super nice. Very. They make it about the guest, and so want to thank Andy.
Thank you.
And,
You're welcome.
Like I said, Johnny and Sean. And
Yes, sir.
listen, if you do nothing in life in professional wrestling, have respect for the business, listen to the veterans, and don't work for TSW.
Okay. Yep, that's the end of the show, guys. I want to tell everybody thank you for watching us. Check out Bobby Blade's YouTube channel, Mike Elam's YouTube channel, Bone Breaking Actions YouTube channel, the NiceGuyAndy podcast channel, Fandito's channel, and like and subscribe to all those guys. And for all your internet gaming needs, Royal Lex is there on YouTube. Go there and like their page and message them, and they'll sign you up. Tell them the NiceGuyAndy podcast sent you, and they'll give you $5 in free play. Thanks to Sean Johns. Thanks to Superfly Johnny Lee. And thanks to the Russian Monster, the Soviet Stud, for coming in and being giving us all these
My pleasure.
and letting us watch that your third match ever. And it was
There
great.
you
The
go.
worst
There you
match ever.
Worst match ever.
No, it wasn't the worst match
I've
ever.
seen worse matches,
I've seen
trust me,
worse
but-
matches on AEW.
That was
actually.
the
That's a whole
drizzling
nother
shit.
podcast.
Yeah. There's a whole nother podcast right
But
there.
with them, there's no excuse.
I like. I
They've
don't
been
know.
around a while.
Sometimes I like a
for it being
shitty match. You know.
Oh, well.
Sometimes I like a
you
good
need to watch
shitty
the trilogy
movie.
of the Russian Monster then, because that's a
Joe Shad says,
That's the
sorry,
shittiest
Study
match.
brought it up.
Yeah.
Who said that? Joe Shad.
Yeah, he also said that
That's
you
okay,
and
Joe
Kyle
Shad.
were superstars compared to the other guys on the card that night.
Wow.
True.
I mean,
Thank you, Joe Shad. And I'll say this. Go New York Giants for you, Joe.
that's right.
Hell yeah. And I just want to say, if you're not having fun,
You're not getting none.
damn Skippy.
That's right.
We're out of here, guys.
Jimmy Felcher just now tuned in.
What's up, Jimmy
What's
Felcher?
up, Jimmy?
Oh,
Love
maybe
you.
he did, but
He's on the
Nice
weed
Guy Andy podcast.
now. Fellas, thank you. I could have said it for
Your face
Yes, sir.
records